If you've ever walked around your house right before bed solely to hit your step goal for the day, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. And yes, I did hit my step goal. It's multiple days in a row. We're going to do another one here today. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. I hope the rest of your Tuesday was wonderful. We're back for Hump Day here today and the biggest day of earnings after hours here today as we await Tesla, IBM, Texas Instruments, Lam Research, and others. Also, we got an extension of the ceasefire, an indefinite one. So no more deadlines to deal with here. Market responding to that, and we are higher here in the pre-market. Early on, sure looks like a risk-on day. Bitcoin above 78,000 on the futures. Market showing us green arrows here this morning. We will see if that holds up. We got news to go through here today. We've got trading ideas that we're going to generate. And of course, we have Tim Melvin here for Wednesday. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Wednesday edition for April 22nd, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Tuesday evening. We're back for yet another day here today. It is, in fact, Hump Day and, as mentioned, the biggest earnings day of the week. We had Boeing here this morning. We had AT&T here this morning. We've got Tesla tonight, Lam Research, Texas Instruments, IBM. Got a bunch of big reports here tonight. So we'll see how that all goes. We've got some stuff to break down first, but as always, we're going to start off with some welcomes. Richard Judge is first here today. Good morning, Ryan and everyone. Good morning to you, Judge, and congrats on being first here. Early bird does, in fact, get the worm. Robert, good morning. Welcome back. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Welcome back. Reggie, top of the morning to you. Reggie says, I need to learn how to get some pre-market trades in Webull, and any help would be appreciated. I don't have Webull, so I don't know. I would imagine your favorite large language model would be able to give you some pretty detailed instructions on that. But if anyone in the chat has a suggestion here for Reggie, let him have it. I guess we can always ask 13 when he shows on. I believe he still uses Webull, although don't quote me on that. But we'll help you out, Reggie. We'll figure out something. Good morning, Marty. Welcome back. So there's an extension on the talks with Iran. Today should be good then. I just heard it this morning. Good morning. Yeah, indeed. Like I said, it looks early here as if we're looking at some green arrows. So hopefully it's a risk-on day. Bitcoin telling us it's definitely going to be a risk-on day. Again, all of that can turn around. We'll see if we get that to continue here today, Marty. Francis, good morning. Great to see you again. Reaching Financial Freedom, good morning. Great to see you again. Yes, that girl, good morning. Welcome back. Derek, good morning. Welcome back. Marty, appreciate you trying to help there. Whisk, good morning. Producer, good morning. Pot G, good afternoon to you from the sunny UK. Okay, glad you're getting some good weather over there. It's actually here in Chicago. It's gorgeous today. It's 58 right now, early in the morning. It's sunny outside. Good vibes. Good vibes, Pachi. We'll take it. We will absolutely take it. Richard Judge, cue the music. Indeed. You know how it goes, Judge. We got a schedule around here that we stick to. Carlos, good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Azrar, likewise. Good morning. Welcome back. Zach, good morning. Welcome back. Zach's having eggs every day. Get that protein, brother. Unpopular Truth, good morning. Jay Wild, good morning. It's good to see you, man. And thanks again for all your service. Big Dave says, good morning. Heading out to Texas today for the Hot Rod Tour of Texas, and I'll be back on Monday. Okay, couple of things, Big Dave. Number one, have fun in Texas. We'll mention that to 13. But number two, a Hot Rod Tour of, I bet that show is going to be unbelievable. Unbelievable. I will take pictures, if you take them, of some of the cool custom unique cars there. So don't forget about your boy there. I would love to see that. Enjoy it. And we'll keep the seat warm for you. We'll be back here whenever you return back. Hector, good morning. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself. Marionette, welcome back. Good morning. Bernhard, good morning. Crypto Stock Beach Bunny. I love YouTube handles so much. Good morning. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself. Brad J, good morning indeed. Love the energy here. Hopefully you have yourself a great one. Crispy Biscuit, good morning. Maverick, good morning. When will Carr hit the ditch? Yeah, good question. Carr's gapping again. I'm sure we'll take a look at this short squeeze monster. I definitely want to know throughout the course of the show, is anyone trading Carr? Do you have any active trades on Carr? I know we said Lion was going to take, I think, a September put. 150 put or something like that. Anyway, let me know if you folks are trading it in any way, either long or short. Benzinga Pro chat yesterday. Big time shout out to the group. They were trading Carr. There was one guy that made like over $500,000 on the Carr move yesterday. So there's money to be made there. It's extremely risky, but if you have a trade on it, share it with the group. I'd love to hear that. Yassine, good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you as always. Corey, welcome back. It's good to see you as always as well. Linda, likewise, good morning. Welcome back. Billy, the human chat scanner, is back. KIDZ, one of our movers here today. Boy, that's one we've traded before. Good luck with that one. See how it goes. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning and happy hump day to you. Astro Kev, good morning. Welcome back. A brief reprieve to keep the screen green indeed. You're a wordsmith. I like that, Kev. We'll see if we get those green arrows to hold here today. That's really going to be the key. Cam says, what a day this is shaping up to be. That sounds optimistic, and I will take that. We'll do a one-up early here. AGPU. That sounds like a mover based on the ticker. Oh my goodness. That is indeed a mover. That stock closed at 488 and is printing 12s right now. We'll be taking a look at that one when we break down the movers, Jay Wild. Good luck for any of you that trade that. All right. AI unveiled. Let's go. It's time to screen and get paid. This is the exact attitude we should all have every morning. Good morning, AI Unveiled. Welcome back. We are going to get paid here today. Captain Cloudy, good morning. Durkus, good morning. Mo Chillin, good morning. Big Grip, good morning. Robot to Trade, good morning. Janie, it's great to see you again. Rooster, welcome back. Chris, welcome back. Hello, friends. Acorns, great green day. Indeed, so far, we needed to hold. We needed to hold. No early victory laps. One of our mottos around here, but so far, so good. Neville, good morning. Bob, good morning. And Reggie, the pre-market was nice. Been watching since 6 a.m. DRAM climbed nice in the pre-market. So maybe those memory names going to be on deck here again today. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, we've got some green arrows for this hump day ahead of Wednesday's open. S&P futures up 0.71%. The Dow futures up 0.68%. And the NASDAQ leading the way higher at 0.88%. So a nice little bump on the ceasefire indefinite extension here today. Let's take a look at some cues from last session, shall we? And then we'll go through some stocks to watch for here today. Real estate, utilities, and industrial sectors recorded the biggest decline on Tuesday. The energy sector was, in fact, the only positive sector ahead of yesterday's minor pullback, which, by the way, held the trend line. We'll take a look at the chart here in just a sec. U.S. stock futures rose on Wednesday following Tuesday's decline. Futures of major benchmark indices were higher and remain higher after President Trump extended the Iran ceasefire. On Tuesday, the Dow Jones Index closed about 293 points lower after President Trump initially said that there would not be an extension to the Iran ceasefire, that the Iranian negotiators have no choice but to come to an agreement. Now, since then, I know there's talk of a taco there because he went back and did give that extension. That it is what it is. He says that because the government there is so fractured, wants to give them time to actually make a deal. So definitely looks like we're getting a taco trade here today. However, it does look like they're trying to resolve this diplomatically. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Let's cross our fingers and hope that that's the case. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yield stood at 4.286%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.766% at the time of the writing. CME Group's Fed Watch Tool projections show that the markets are pricing in a 99.5% likelihood of the Federal Reserve leaving the current interest rates unchanged in April. Now, we've got several stocks in focus here for you today, and really none of them should be a surprise. The first one here is going to be Tesla. It's ticker TSLA. And Wall Street expects Tesla to report quarterly earnings of 37 cents per share on revenue of $22.71 billion after the closing bell. Tesla shares were up just about 1% in the pre-market. The next stock on our list is going to be Boeing. They reported earnings earlier here today. Analysts were expecting a quarterly loss of 84 cents per share on revenue of $21.92 billion prior to the opening bell. Boeing was up earlier here today. Boeing has since reported Q1 adjusted EPS of a 20-cent loss beat the 84-cent loss estimate, and sales came in at $22.217 billion. This beat the estimate of $21.779 billion. Boeing is trading higher here in the pre-market. We'll see if that holds into the regular session. United Airlines is our third stock, ticker UAL. They reported better than expected results in the first quarter with adjusted earnings per share of $1.19 on revenue of $14.6 billion. United Airlines shares gained 1.7% to 98.78 in the pre-market trading. So it looks like you've got some green arrows there as well. The next stock on our list is AT&T, which is just ticker T. And analysts were expecting T to post an EPS of 55 cents on revenue of $31.23 billion prior to the opening bell. T shares were up about 0.5%. Those earnings are in. Q1 adjusted EPS of 57 cents beat the 55-cent estimate. Q1 sales of $31.506 billion beat the estimate of $31.247 billion. Also, AT&T affirms fiscal year 2026 adjusted EPS guide of $2.25 to $2.35 versus the estimate of $2.29, so fairly in line there. The next and last stock on our list here today, at this point, we got to call it a show favorite, don't we? This is going to be ticker GEV, which is GE Vernova. Analyst or Wall Street expects it to post EPS of 202 on revenue of $9.26 billion before the opening bell. GEV shares were trading higher by about 0.5% in the pre-market. Now, since then, GE Vernova's adjusted Q1 EPS is out. The 206 beat the 188 estimate, and sales of $9.339 billion beat the estimate of $9.173 billion. I also see Q1 sales of $9.339 billion, beating the estimate of $9.173 billion. GE Vernova raises fiscal year 2026 sales guide from $44 to $45 billion to $44.5 to $45.5 billion. This is versus the estimate of $44.474 billion. All right, folks, let's get to the chart and see where we are at. So we started off by talking about how yesterday was a little bit of a pullback. And indeed, that's exactly what we got. But when you take a look at the actual chart itself, it actually doesn't look bad at all. In fact, shame on me, but it looks healthy, right? We had this nice 13-day move to the upside. We finally are finding a little bit of resistance, notably above the trend line that we broke out from. So it's great that we're holding this area. And yesterday's down move basically backtested this. So I know we're expecting more information today. We obviously need to get through the session today and see what happens here. But from right now, from where we sit, this looks great. We traded up to a resistance area. We broke that resistance area. We back tested the same area to make sure that the market wants to hold there. And so far, so good. Now, obviously, the big caveat here, as we've been discussing with this entire move, frankly, off the lows, is that it's happening on low volume. And we really would like to see higher than average volume in a rally like this. This would probably give us a little bit more confidence that we're not due for an immediate pullback, or we might try and probe some areas higher here. We don't have that yet, but that could definitely change, especially if we get some positive macro news. So that would be one other thing to kind of wait for. The other thing is, I think if we get an actual end to the conflict, and I don't just mean a Trump post, but I mean like an actual end that the market believes, I would expect then we would probably see some elevated volume. And if we do, that would probably be a really good move to kind of trade off of. Right now, with some of these, I think we could easily pull back. We could get a head fake. We could get another piece of news that drives us lower here. I'd really like to see this breakout kind of solidify with some higher volume. We'll see if and when we get that. The last couple of days, the last couple of days has pretty much made a sideways formation. So the longer we do this, I think the more pronounced the move up or down is going to be. We'll see which one we get here. Should have a plan for both, right? We definitely have some longs on right now. I know some of you folks are swinging at them things. If we break higher here, I don't think booking gains is a bad idea. If we move lower here, definitely make sure that we have some dry powder to add some of these quality companies that we've been waiting for a discount on. So nice to see where we're at here. Some good headlines. Definitely looks like a risk-on day, but let's just be ready. Let's be ready for any curveball that the market might throw at us. All right. Let's take a look at some insights from analysts here. Michelle Gibley, Director of International Equity Research and Strategy at the Schwab Center for Financial Research, warned that despite the last-minute extension of the Iran ceasefire, crude prices will take time to normalize. This isn't new. We've been talking about this. Quote, physical delivery of oil and gas is constrained and isn't reflected in energy futures prices, end quote. That came from Gibley. These issues reverberate around the world in terms of monetary policy as several major central banks, including the Federal Reserve, prepare to make a rate decision next week. Again, we'll see how this goes. Quote, most global central banks are on hold for now, waiting for more clarity on the duration of energy supply disruptions and the higher energy prices. So we'll see which one we get here. Again, I'm encouraged to see where our market is. I think to really make the next move higher, we're going to need volume participation and probably another positive catalyst. All right, let's move through some more news here before we get to Tim. What are we, 16 past the hour? We're in good shape here. All right, next story is going to be on Northrop Grumman. And this, well, Northrop Grumman is being cited here in the story. I think there's a larger thesis here on some of these defense names. I know the defense names have actually made for some pretty good trades recently, but Northrop Grumman says defense spending could reach Cold War era levels. So if you're interested in trading some of the defense names, perhaps there's some more upside on some of those names. On Tuesday, Northrop Grumman Corporation, which is, of course, ticker NOC, reported upbeat first quarter fiscal earnings for 2026, and both earnings and revenue exceeded the consensus. However, the company reaffirmed its fiscal year 26 adjusted EPS guide and sales guidance, but it missed the consensus EPS of 614, exceeded the analyst consensus estimate of 609, and sales of $9.88 billion beat the street view of $9.752 billion. Organic sales rose 5%, led by modernization efforts and strong demand in the defense sector. Northrop disclosed total awards of $9.8 billion in the quarter and ended the period with a backlog of $96 billion. The company reiterated the fiscal year 2026 sales outlook of $43.5 billion to $44 billion. That was against a $43.9 billion estimate, and it reaffirmed the EPS guide of $27.40 to $27.90 versus the estimate of $28.01. Northrop Grumman disclosed that it's expanding annual production capacity on the B-21 aircraft by 25%. The company says the outlook remains positive, with expected higher global defense spending and strong demand for missile defense systems and advanced interceptors. All of this stuff not new. Northrop Grumman said the administration recently proposed a $1.5 trillion defense budget for fiscal year 2027, prioritizing modernization and reflecting a 44% increase over current spending levels. The plan includes a $1.1 trillion base budget, which is roughly 30% higher than that of fiscal year 26. It maintains funding for major programs such as the B-21, the Sentinel, the IBCS, and the E-2D, along with several classified projects, of course. If implemented, total defense spending would reach about 5% of GDP. That's up from around 3% in recent years and closer to Cold War era levels. For 2026, the company expects the growth to accelerate throughout the year in line with the 2025 trends. For the second quarter, Northrop Grumman expects sales to grow in the high single digits sequentially, with broad-based growth across all segments for the full year. Also, operating income is expected to remain strong with margins in the low to mid 11% range and gradual improvement over the year driven by mix, timing, and execution. The company now expects $1.85 billion in 2026 capex, including an additional $200 million to support B-21 production capacity. As a reminder, you can get access to all of the conference call transcripts by subscribing to Benzinga Pro. Now, one more thing here regarding Northrop Grumman, just looking at some of the analyst consensus here. Jefferies has a hold. They raised their price target to $7.10. Northrop Grumman here this morning at 613, so about 100 points there. Citigroup has a buy. Their price target's 807. Wells Fargo initiated with overweight on April 1st. They have a target of $800 as well. And of course, NOC is going to be in several of those defense ETFs. The tickers that we give here, ITA. Also, keep in mind, DFEN is the levered ITA, so it's basically the 2X of ITA, but it's also an SHLD and PPA as well. So we'll see what we get for defense spending. Let me know if you have any more trades on any of the defense stocks. If you prefer ETFs instead of single stocks, obviously ITA and DFEN have been the ones that we've been trading quite a bit here. So keep me posted if you have any trades on that. Now, we've been talking a lot about software and software names recently. Adobe is actually popping here. Let me actually bring this up on a chart here. Adobe closed at about 247 yesterday, trading at 255 here today. So Adobe greenlights a $25 billion stock buyback program. That's why it's popping here. We'll go through this. Let me know if there are any other software names you're interested in. Adobe, ticker ADBE, shares are up in Wednesday's pre-market session. On Tuesday, the company disclosed a new stock repurchase program valued at $25 billion. This move is seen as a strong signal of confidence in Adobe's cash flow and long-term value, even against the AI SaaS-pocalypse headlines that have been out there. Adobe's board of directors have approved a stock repurchase authorization, allowing the company to buy back $25 billion in common stock through April 30th of 2030. This initiative aims to return value to shareholders while minimizing dilution from stock issuances. Probably a good thing. Dan Dern, executive vice president and CFO, said the company's new $25 billion buyback plan reflects strong confidence in its cash generation and long-term shareholder value. Not sure what you expected him to say. He added that returning substantial capitals to investors while continuing to invest heavily in innovation underscores the resilience of Adobe's business model and its strategy to harness AI to enhance creativity, expand reach, and deliver more impactful user experiences. Last week, Adobe disclosed a major partnership with Dick's Sporting Goods, ticker DKS, to enhance retailer engagement with customers, especially athletes, across every stage of their journey. Dick's is partnering with Adobe to meet its demand using AI-driven tools that act as a digital coach. The company will also use Adobe's enterprise solutions combined with its own expertise to deliver more tailored and consistent customer experiences. Apart from this, Adobe partnered with Xfinity, Comcast Corporation's consumer brand. The ticker for Comcast, by the way, is CMCSA. I always mess that one up. To speed up creative campaign production and scale personalized marketing more efficiently. The collaboration will help Xfinity build solutions to produce high volume of timely, relevant content while maintaining a consistent brand identity. Additionally, International Business Machines, or IBM, is introducing industry solutions for AI-powered experience orchestration in collaboration with Adobe. This move comes as IBM aims to enhance customer engagement by addressing the growing expectation of brands to anticipate customer needs. Adobe is currently trading with a challenged technical setup, having experienced a 12-month decline of 29.36%. The stock is trading 5.6% above its 20-day simple moving average, which indicates a short-term strength, while it remains 12% below its 100-day moving average, suggesting a struggle in maintaining intermediate-term momentum. The Relative Strength Index, or RSI, is at 50.97, which is considered neutral, indicating that the stock is neither overbought nor oversold. This positioning suggests a balanced market sentiment with no immediate pressure from buyers or sellers. Obviously, that could change in a heartbeat here. Adobe, some key resistance here, 285.50. Key support here, 244.5. Also, looking at some of the analyst consensus estimates, UBS has a neutral with a 260 price target that was lowered on April 17th. RBC has an outperformed. They lowered their price target to 350. That was also on April 17th. And William Blair downgraded this to a market perform on March 26th. No price target given. No price target given there on Adobe. Okay. We're 25 past the hour here. We got just a couple of minutes until we get to one of our favorite guests, Tim Melvin. I do have another news story here, a couple that I want to get through real quick. This next one, this is definitely something that we are going to stay on top of. I know a lot of you folks are trading some of the quantum names. I know a lot of you folks also trade crypto names. We've really been kind of talking about, being prepared for the quantum revolution and all of that. So I'm going to focus on a lot of this stuff. This next story here is regarding Coinbase. Their advisory board says it's time to start preparing for quantum risks now instead of waiting for when it's actually urgent. Let's just do it now. Coinbase Global, ticker COIN, their advisory board on quantum computing released its first paper on Tuesday detailing which parts of cryptocurrency security and a future quantum machine could threaten, why the industry should begin those upgrades now. The board, consisting of leading researchers from Stanford, University of Austin, and the Ethereum Foundation, expressed high confidence that a quantum computer capable of breaking cryptography that secures digital assets will be built eventually, even if that capability doesn't exist yet. Quote, the board's view is straightforward. The time to start preparing is now, not when it's urgent, end quote. And that was directly from the Coinbase blog read. The paper draws a line between network-level components and user-level key exposure, saying the biggest weak spot is the digital signatures used to provide ownership. It added that Bitcoin's mining process, or hashing, and the immutability of prior blocks are not, quote, meaningfully threatened, end quote, by quantum attacks. For Bitcoin, the board estimated about 6.9 million Bitcoin sits in the higher exposure category, wallets where key information is publicly visible on chain. The board pointed to decades of work on quantum-safe cryptography, noting that the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology has already finalized multiple standards that can be used as building blocks. Quote, the hardest part is rolling them out, end quote. And that was from the board. They went on to say, migrating millions of wallets across decentralized networks where every user has to take action is a coordination challenge unlike anything traditional finance faces, end quote. The board also recommended that critical decisions, such as the fate of wallets that do not upgrade, be made and communicated as early as possible. In earlier statements, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong emphasized that quantum computing is a, quote, very solvable, end quote, issue that it is engaging with major blockchains to transition to a post-quantum cryptography framework. Ethereum creator Vitalik Buterin called for the swift deployment of quantum-resistant technology for the network, stressing its importance for long-term cryptographic safety. Jameson Loop, chief security officer at self-custody platform firm Casa, stated in December that upgrading Bitcoin, which involves migrating funds to a quantum-resistant version, could take up to a decade. So, really seems like we should be preparing for this now, not waiting for the last possible minute. If any of you are like me and you love to procrastinate, this one might be something that we should not procrastinate on. Okay, one more real quick story here, and then we're going to get to Tim Melvin. Let's get all of the quips and jabs out of the way, if you will. Kramer calls the dip. Says, fear is lying. These stocks are a screaming buy. So here are a couple of stocks that Kramer thinks is good. I definitely want to get your folks' opinion on all of these, whether you like or dislike them. And perhaps maybe you like them less. Now that Kramer likes them, you'll have to let me know. CNBC's Jim Cramer said recent sell-offs are creating buying opportunities in select stocks, backing his picks with a focus on fundamentals over fear-driven narratives. On Tuesday, Cramer pointed to CrowdStrike, ticker CRWD, as a recovery story, arguing that concerns around AI competition are misplaced. He said, quote, AI and Anthropic weren't headwinds for cybersecurity, they were tailwinds, end quote. He noted that the stock rebounded strongly after earlier declines and gained further after a bullish analyst upgrade. CrowdStrike shares were under pressure following new AI-driven competition concerns. How relevant those concerns are, still a bit of debate about that. The stock extended its decline after Anthropic launched Claude Code Security, an AI tool designed to detect and fix software vulnerabilities, raising fears about disruption in the cybersecurity space. The announcement triggered a broader sell-off across peers, such as Palo Alto Networks, ticker PANW, one of our favorites, and Cloudflare, ticker NET, another show favorite, as investors reassessed whether AI native tools could challenge existing platforms. Cramer also highlighted Microsoft, a definite show favorite, saying its core strengths remain intact despite a sharp drop, adding, quote, I am glad we didn't dump it. Could have been a big mistake, end quote. Yeah, probably. I wonder who's adding it back at the moment. Recently, Bank of America Securities said Microsoft remains well positioned for AI growth, with near-term stock performance tied to Azure and Copilot trends. Analyst Tal Liani said Azure growth depends on how quickly Microsoft adds AI capacity, noting strong demand but limited infrastructure as a constraint, with further expansion expected to unlock upside. He added that Copilot adoption is key to proving AI returns, as increased usage could drive higher revenue per user and ease competitive concerns. You know, Copilot is something that we've been watching for a long time. I don't know how many businesses are actually using this more. Hopefully we get some information on that. Liani also pointed to steady growth in Microsoft's core businesses, including Microsoft 365, Dynamics, and LinkedIn, and maintained a buy rating with a $500 price forecast. Cramer said investors should rely on, quote, faith in management, faith in model, faith in the balance sheet, and faith in the comeback, end quote, when evaluating stocks during volatile periods. While acknowledging that not every stock will recover, he said those who avoid panic selling often benefit. That's something we've been saying here a lot too, adding that investors who give in to fear may later wonder, quote, what were we thinking, end quote. And that's the big thing that I definitely want to avoid. I mean, we've seen big drawdowns before. We've seen really quick sell-offs or really quick pullbacks. I just don't want people to be looking back and thinking, oh, I made that mistake. I can't believe I made that mistake. All right, folks, 28 ahead of the hour. That means it is time for one of our favorite guests. Let's bring on Tim and see how he's doing. I haven't checked on Orioles scores, so I don't know what kind of mood he's going to be in. Tim, good morning. How you doing?
Well, we lost last night, but I'm still in a pretty good mood. You know?
Okay, good. Because the last time I talked to you about the Orioles, they were getting no hit until the ninth inning, and they finally got one. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, and, it's, Rutschman hit a home run late last night, tied the game. And then, we're using 19 pitchers a game. So, I mean, our bullpen was tired. They threw it away. What's my skincare routine? I don't have one, dude. Great question. By the way, apologies to all Yankees fans, because this week I am a Yankees fan. All right. There's a few times a year where I am just a massive New York Yankees fan. And it's this week because they are playing those bottom feeding, scum sucking Red Sox of Boston.
Oh, Tim.
And we've got them this weekend. So anything you guys can do to beat up on and soften up the Yankees, I'd be really appreciative. And the Yankees thing goes all the way back, because all my cousins are Yankees or Phillies fans. Red Sox or Phillies fans. And it just seemed like every time we needed to win a game, there were the Red Sox and Yastrzemski, and we lost. That sticks with a child. and I have carried
Clearly.
that bias all the way into adulthood.
All right. Well, I don't even know how I'm going to follow that. I guess I'll just follow up with at least the Cubs are on a 7-game winning
A
streak. But that's
7-game
neither
win
here nor
streak.
there.
You guys are playing like you think it matters, man. I mean, team looks
I know,
good.
and it's only April.
Team looks fantastic. All right, let's jump right in because I do have a lot of stuff. I don't know how much I'm going to get to. I sent Ryan links to all these papers. These
Let
are
me
some
get to
pretty
work.
cool papers. Okay, first up, this is a very cool paper. It's one absolutely you should read because it throws away a lot of the BS and everything else. So this is a paper on technical indicators.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. First of all, by the way, Tim, thank you for giving me a link here. I just threw that link in the chat. I think that has all 4 that you sent me, or is this
Yes.
just...
Now there's a bunch. There's a bunch of separate links, and then
Got
there's
it.
one like that's a professor over in Finland, I think it is, that we're going to talk a little bit more about because he's done some amazing work on moving averages. This guy is the ultimate geek. I love this man. But anyway, this particular paper, this is ambitious. All right, he takes a universe of 11,573 stocks, then he filters that down to 2,330 using liquidity and price constraints, getting rid of the junk and the illiquid stuff that you could trade. So it's only stocks with average daily volume above 100,000 shares. Stocks are in the $5 to $30 range. Right? Because everybody, oh, the stock's in a great momentum. Well, it's $1,100 a share. Who cares? Right? Because most of us aren't going to be chasing that. That's reality, right? 100 shares is what, $11,000?
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen. This is just a study of the U.S. tradable market. Right? Lower price slice of the market that appeals more to retail traders, whether we want to admit it or not. Then he breaks this up, all these technical indicators, 2 groups. One is cross indicators that can directly generate entry and exit, and then are the auxiliary indicators that give you like your overbought, your oversold, and all that. 25 test indicators in total. Bollinger Band, moving averages, MACD, RSI, Keltner channels, Vortex, Williams percent R, just bunches of indicators on bunches of stocks. And after he tests each indicator, he starts using testing for combination indicators. Some surprising stuff in here. All right. I actually am happy to see this one because I do like them. And I also think John Bollinger is a great guy. John Bollinger is the strongest long position single indicator in all of the tests. And the way they test it is a price that is below the bottom Bollinger Band, right? So in other words, this is a stock that's more than 2 standard deviations away from the average, comes back above that bottom band. That is a massive winning potential. Okay, so you're really tipping your probabilities in your favor. Remember, you're not trading junk, right? You're trading liquid, stronger, liquid stocks. They tend to be better companies. They tend to have gotten rid of some of the garbage. I'm just kind of going through.
And Tim, so this is basically saying that you have a very high probability when you break the bottom of the Bollinger Band, like when you're beneath.
When you're beneath the Bollinger Band and you come back above that bottom band. Okay, so this means the stock has gotten hit. It's gotten hit hard.
Yep.
Right. So you've got a fairly liquid stock that has been creamed. Like it's more than 2 because Bollinger Bands are standard deviations. Okay.
Right.
So when you're over 2 standard deviations outside the norm and you return back inside that lower standard deviation band, that's a huge buy signal.
Okay. Now, maybe you're going to get to this, and I might be jumping the gun, and I apologize if that's the case. Is the behavior the same if you break the top end of the Bollinger Band?
Not as reliable. Okay?
Interesting. That is interesting to me.
Not really, because when you're breaking the upper band, that is often a sign of trend strength.
Okay? That makes sense.
And you've got most oscillators you'll find as you go through life, and there's only a couple of exceptions to this rule. They all work better on buy indications than sell, because on sell you're fighting uptrends, and uptrends tend to be very powerful.
Okay. All right. That's
Okay.
really good insight.
Now,
That's really cool.
here's what's key, and you're going to see this in all of the indicators that I'm going to tell you about, right? The win rate's only 40%. Okay. But the average win to the average loss is just astronomical. And that's true of most successful swing and longer term trading systems, right? Anytime somebody comes up and says, I got an 80% win rate on my trade, they're full of that other stuff. Okay. See, I caught myself there. They're full of Red Sox. That's what they're full of.
You almost made me spit my tea out. Tim's cooking this morning, indeed.
So now this is a fairly long-term study. You guys can see the study. It's not a flash in the pan of just a few days. But the max drawdown using this strategy was only about 5.11%. The stop's going to be if it comes back, if it goes through the lower band and then drops back through it, that's your stop, obviously. 40% win rate, but 37.9% compound annual growth rate over the life of the study. And it is a very long study, guys. This is not, flash in the pan. Now, the next up is Keltner channel, which is kind of a smoother Bollinger Band. They don't use standard deviation. They use average true range for the Keltner channels, but it's the same thing. Breaks through the bottom, comes back up above the bottom into the Keltner channel. That's a very strong signal. Okay. Next up is the vortex indicator, which I had never heard of until I read this study. And the vortex indicator is a trend indicator, and it also measures trend exhaustion fairly well. I didn't check the rules as closely here. I should have. But it about less than half of the Bollinger Band, right? So the big takeaway from this study is that if Bollinger Band's not in your toolbox, it should be. And I think, Ryan, and I'm going to do some work on this. If you're not seeing the obvious, your high growth stocks, your high Piotrowski F-score stocks, and you run a screen every day for those being below that bottom Bollinger Band, and set a buy stop as they go back through, I can see all sorts of, kind of cool stuff to do there. Now that's all on the long side. Now let's look at the short side.
Let me ask you a really quick question. And again, I know you didn't write the paper, so I apologize if I'm asking you a question that you're not prepared for. I noticed here that the vortex indicator, which I too have never heard of until this morning, I noticed that this is one similar to MACD and RSI that sits at the bottom of the chart and plots two lines against each other. Can you use these in conjunction with Bollinger Bands or Keltner channels?
I'm so glad you asked that, because yes, you can. In fact, he gets into that a little bit more as the study goes along. This is a really big study. Now, the single best indicator on the short side, there's two that really work. And one's the 10-day crossing under the 30-day, and the other's the vortex.
Okay.
And then your combination signals are going to be Bollinger Band plus RSI, Bollinger Band plus ADX on the long side. It's mean reversion Bollinger Bands plus trend momentum confirmations like RSI, ADX, and money flows are really powerful. But the takeaway from this, very long-term study, lots of stocks, designed for traders, gets rid of all the illiquidity and all the probably, possible junk combinations and answers, comes up with that mean reversion using Bollinger Bands filtered with trend and momentum indicators. So, and by the way, here's what's cool about this, right? The best trend indicator in conjunction with Bollinger Bands is RSI. Now, John Bollinger is obviously inventor and final definitive statement on Bollinger Bands. But today, when John does a seminar, he has a secondary speaker who talks on RSI and relative strength. And she is quickly becoming known as an expert in relative strength-based investing. It's his daughter, Zoe. So I just think that's kind of a cool sort of anomaly there, that these two things that we know worked, and you've got this father-daughter combination that are quickly becoming the experts in the field. So that is a phenomenal study if you're going to be a trader. And it walks through a lot more detail than I have gone through here, because it's a huge study and we have time constraints. Okay.
Real quick, I absolutely love seeing this. Tim, I might play around with some of this too. Reggie here is saying, I just copied the entire study to Claude. I almost wonder if you could use some of this very well-researched study material and then develop your own type of, buy or sell indicator using AI tools. That's a great idea, Reggie.
Yeah, no, Reggie, that's a fantastic idea. And that's kind of why I come here and I bring stuff and I throw it all at you and then I send the links. We all get caught in these ruts, right? Oh, this thing works. Well, someday that thing's not going to work. I absolutely promise you that.
100%.
Right. So, the more we talk about and when we look at things, I'm a deep value guy. Okay. And that is like my core religion. But I've learned to incorporate momentum and fundamental momentum and to look at technical stuff. Right. It's because they all can add value. Even though I'm a deep value guy, looking at MACD and some other things can be extremely valuable. Looking at trend, we use the 4 filters, even though I started hardcore deep value and distressed. But, we look at momentum, we look at trend and above, of course we always look at credit, but so that's why we sort of throw this stuff at you. The study's fantastic. It really is. The next,
I was just going to say, it might have been difficult in the past reading through a study, understanding all of it, and then applying it. But AI, Tim, makes this extremely easy. It makes all this information you're sharing with us that much more valuable.
Yes. And then now the next, you have the link of papers there from Mr. Zamakulin. And let me just make sure that I get, Mr. Zamakulin has written a book. Now, Mr. Zamakulin out-geeks me by a wide margin. Here's his book, guys. The book is $120, $108 if you get it on Kindle. So he thinks very highly of himself, but he ought to. His book blurbs are from Wes Gray, Gary Antonacci, Perry Kaufman, David Aronson, and Tom Stark, some of the best analysts of our time. And Wes actually recommended this book very highly to me. So I cracked it out, and it's this is no easy book, right? This is a very dense, long, big book. But one of the things that the easy takeaways from this is that if you're really looking for a trend system, right, it's the moving average crossovers are the smoother signal, because all signals are either very noisy or they have lag, right? And so you're looking for the best mix of that according to his research. And he's saying, look, it's the crossovers that really help definitive trend. So it is $108, but it is available on Amazon. I'm just going to tell you, you got to be a geek, because this is a math. This one gave me a little bit of a headache. Okay. And I'm only about almost halfway through it. But he also did another study a few years ago, back in 2017. It is linked to, it's his entire list of studies, but it's called Optimal Trend Following Rules in Two-State Regime Switching Models. Woo! And he goes through and he looks at the different moving averages and he looks at momentum and he's looking to capture trend. And I'm just going to give you the big 30,000 foot takeaway again from this, okay? In a perfect theoretical world, the best is an exponential moving average, EMA. However, we don't live in that world. Right. What works in the real world, and Ryan, this follows up on something that you and I talked about. We're going to talk about some more. The optimal trend following indicator, according to this study, is MACD, because it combines fast and slow exponential moving averages, adds a smoothing layer, and oscillates it. Right? So you can not only capture the trend, because if it's moving higher and moving averages are converging, right, the fast and the slow, then the trend is going in the direction of that move. However, it very better than just about anything else out there, it captures trend exhaustion. Okay. So that's just kind of the conclusions of that paper. Again, is really math heavy, but it's a good read. And again, we're taking all the indicator soup that's out there, right? Because everybody and their cousin, especially with Claude, has recently discovered a super fail-proof 90% win rate with a 6-to-1 profit to loss ratio that is guaranteed to make you millionaire by next Tuesday indicator. And we have to subject those to math. Okay, and here we're doing that, and MACD is, I've long known that is one of the absolute best. If you use that together with RSI for looking for trend direction and exhaustion signals, those are your two best.
Okay.
Then we have a strategy of fundamental momentum. Okay. And we talk a lot about this. This one's called Twin Momentum Fundamental Trends Matter. And we're bridging again this gap. People are starting to wake up to this, right? Price momentum in and of itself is cool, but it's messy, it's sloppy, it's given to huge story driven distortions, right? How many times do we see a stock where there's a story and the damn thing goes through the roof, but it hits your momentum filter? So you jump into it and find out it was just a story. It's garbage, and now your whole return profile is distorted by this garbage stock that made it past your filter. When you
Hmm.
add the twin momentum fundamentals, right? What we're measuring here now is just the trend in fundamentals. Are the returns getting better? Are the returns on assets improving? Is the company growing at a high rate with high growth rates in earnings, in revenues, in asset value? Are margins improving and blowing out? Is the business constantly getting better? Now we look at that and it's starting to show price momentum. Now you've got a twin momentum stock. So you ask, Tim, that sounds fascinating. What might be, pray tell, some of these fascinating stocks that we're going to call twin momentum stocks? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm even going to give these to Red Sox fans this morning. So
Oh,
all y'all can have these. Okay, go Yankees until Friday. All right, StoneX. SNEX is the symbol here. Um, and you look at this, this is just this beautiful, smooth, up into the right exchange. Um, they are brokerage and financial services, headquartered out of New York. They're doing a lot in commodities, commercial hedging, global payments. Um, they're right place, right time, global commodities. And we get a nice war and a trade war, and some things going on with rare earths that just massively distort global commodity markets. So StoneX has been in the sweet spot of that. I think they'll stay in the sweet spot of that for a while longer. Five Below, which was
Tim, really quick on StoneX here. I left the Bollinger Band and Vortex indicator on one of the charts. Look
yeah,
at how well this worked.
yeah.
Look at how well this worked when it crossed back into the band.
Guys, look, standard deviation. Standard deviation is a mathematical concept. Okay. And when prices get more than two standard, it's like, think of it like stretching back a rubber band. Okay. Now, sometimes the rubber band breaks because it's a crappy rubber band. And that'll be a stock that goes through the bottom band and just keeps going. But a good stock, a decent stock that's getting hit because of market movements, adverse reaction to news, whatever, you're going to draw that band back too far. You're going to get more than two standard deviations out. When it comes back into the band, that's a great signal that rubber band's getting ready to snap back in the other direction.
Yeah, wow.
And again,
Wow.
you've only got a 40% win rate, but when you're right, you're going to get massive moves. And
I mean, this thing went from 70 to 104 in
yeah,
just 2 weeks
yes,
on that signal,
yeah.
on that signal.
You can
So,
get, and again, combining it with RSI, you do increase your win rates quite a bit. So,
sweet.
Five Below hits this, and this is interesting, okay? Because Five Below is a brick and mortar retailer that does value and discounted pricing. But then you sit and you stop and you dwell on this just a little bit, and the bottom half of the economy that they're struggling, right? They'll call it the bottom 40%. They're struggling. Things are difficult. So a company like Five Below, this is going to be real good news for them because people are looking for bargains. All right. So, you don't usually think of retailers as being great momentum stocks, but here is one that has easily made our grade, and you can see why. The fundamentals are outstanding, and we've got smoothing up into the right momentum in the stock. Roku makes the list, and I think that's
This thing is a 5x from Liberation Day last year. 5x, Tim.
Five Below, yeah.
I mean, that's unbelible. I
Yeah,
didn't even realize that until we're looking at this chart.
and fundamental momentum is at the heart of the momentum side of Trade Alerts and Trade Alerts Accelerator. You need to understand something, guys. This works unbelievably well. When you marry fundamental momentum and you way overweight that compared to price momentum, it's much more important. But you set all your stops based on fundamentals, and you weight fundamental momentum against price momentum. You catch the big moves. in a lot of these stocks. And then I'm just looking for some others here that are in reasonable price points. Corning is on the list, one of my just all-time favorite stocks. And here's one that's on here, and I think Southern Copper easily makes the list. SCCO. Copper is one of my just all-time going forward favorite stories because this almost has to be a massive winner going forward. It's this the supply demand imbalance in copper is substantial, and then LSU Industries, LXU is the symbol, or LSB Industries. I'm sorry, that's just chemical products for agricultural, mining, industrial markets. Just again, right place, right kind, kind of stock. Sales are growing, earnings are growing, margins are expanding, everything's going great for the company, and institutional buying's starting to come back into this thing. Now, we've got a couple things here, and I'm going to run out of time, even though I'm going to repossess my 2 minutes, I think, from Ryan. But first off, JP Morgan, KBW, and Raymond James have all been out this week, and I sent you the papers on mortgage REITs, commercial mortgage REITs. The JP Morgan's on both. I'll save you a lot of trouble there. Buy your 3 favorites here. I'm going to be really generous here, as I know this market about as well as anybody because of my banking exposure. AGNC, NOY, and Redwood, RWT. You want to be a buyer on big pullbacks in the bond market. Okay. All of those make a lot of sense. They're all double-digit yields. You probably won't get a lot of price appreciation, but you're going to collect those dividends on the residential side. On the commercial side, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting to be potty time. Right? Even office is beginning now, not garbage office, right? B and C New York office buildings, stuff in in the bad neighborhoods in Chicago or the second and third tier office buildings. That stuff is crap. You don't want to be lending against it. It's going to fall down into distress levels. That's not our playbook at this moment in time. Okay, but when you look at grade A and class A and trophy office buildings, demand is there. All right. And there's also going to be in key cities, New York, Seattle, even San Francisco, Los Angeles, certainly, there's going to be a shortage in 5 years because nobody's building any. Right. So these are all still, so from a lender's point of view, this is a great time to be lending on commercial real estate. And remember this also, the only place there's any problem is office. Everything else is actually in pretty good shape. All right. There's a huge disconnect, but the lending part of this business is really good. So we want to look at TRTX, which is TPG Group, Texas Pacific Group's entry into this field. You've got an 11.5% dividend yield. These guys completely cleaned up their loan book. All of their problem loans have been dealt with. In an area where most people are considering cutting back their dividends to conserve cash, to build cash for investing now that there's starting to be demand coming into the market, these guys may actually be a dividend growth story. Okay, so TRTX, 11% dividend. We love Ladder Capital. The stock is now at 1039 with an 893.
What was the ticker? Ladder?
LADR. As things were rough over the last couple of years, Ladder has just taken the money from loans that paid off and stuck it in cash, and taken the money and stuck it in cash. They've been really, shrinking their loan book, strengthening their balance sheet, and putting themselves in a position for today when things are starting to improve. So we're big fans of Ladder Capital. Starwood, STWD, they're buying a lot of property, so you got a mix of owned property and lending. It's still a really big lending operation, so we still like that one with a 10% dividend yield. Now, here's the play of the day, guys, and this is this near and dear to my heart because I've made so much money from liquidation situations over the years. It's crazy. This one may not be liquidated, but if it is, you're going to walk out with about an 11-12% profit. Apollo Commercial Real Estate Finance, ARI, right? sold their entire loan book to their insurance subsidiary, Athene, leaving about $12 a share in cash. And there's still 466 million, or uh, that's about a third of the market cap. So $3 to $4 in property. Okay. Uh, the property that they repossessed is a multifamily property in Brooklyn. Um, here it is. I know I had this daggone thing here somewhere. A multifamily property in Brooklyn, and DC hotel, and a hotel in Atlanta, and they're all fairly nice buildings. They're not garbage buildings. Okay. So we feel pretty good that they can actually get a better price on these as we go forward. So 10 to 11% if they don't do anything with the billion or so dollar, 1.7 billion in cash, I believe it is, that they are currently sitting on. However, this is Apollo. It has to be commercial real estate related, but they could easily go into distressed or distressed office or some other segment of the market. It'll have to be approved by the board and a shareholder vote. But if they liquidate it and return the cash, worst case scenario, you walk away with a 10, 11% return over the next year or so. So that's one of those, kinky arbitragey situations that I love.
Okay.
So final thought, reclaiming my 2 minutes. If this market's going to blow up because of the war, okay, the hedge is not stocks. The hedge is too expensive in stocks. Hedge using credit. Use out of the money black swan type puts on the TLT, the HYG, and the J&K. If this market goes kaboom, you will be more than adequately hedged using the credit markets.
Okay. Tim, first of all, sorry for taking your 2 minutes, but that was really, really good stuff there across the board. I really appreciate you sharing these studies with us and then some of the picks on top of it. So
yeah,
really awesome.
Will New York City offices get used again aside from squatter housing? Guys, go walk around New York. It's only the really lower end office buildings that are struggling, and they're probably going to blow those up and build Class A properties or convert them to apartments. Apartment demand in New York is outrageously high.
Okay, good stuff. We have one more question here, Tim, and it's kind of tongue in cheek. What are your thoughts about CAR, Avis Budget Rental Group?
Oh, I don't think about them at all. It doesn't. No, not being facetious. It hasn't hit any of my screens, so I haven't looked at it in a long time.
The reason that the chat is asking you about this is because this is one of the biggest stories in the market right now. It is going through an epic short squeeze. I shouldn't say never. It was worth about $130 this morning. It's gapped up to $774, and it has been just complete vertical over there. It was tongue in cheek. We knew that the fundamentals here weren't going to work for you.
Yeah, no, it's once again, I have unfortunately missed it. I don't feel too bad. I'll make it up somewhere else, and I'll probably miss the thing that when it goes kaboom too. But these short squeezes are absolutely fascinating to me. But I'm smart enough not to play past the burning match because I'm no good at it.
Yeah. Okay, totally get it. Tim, really, really appreciate it. Good stuff here yet again. Have a good one. And I hope your Orioles get some W's.
Go Yankees till Friday. We'll see you guys next week.
Okay, sounds good, Tim. Tim Melvin, everybody. You gotta love it. Gotta love it there. I'm here for Tim's jokes as well. All right, 13's ready. We're going to go ahead and do Pre-Market Pulse. But first, we're going to do a very, very quick Street Tweets segment. And you know what? For the first time in Street Tweets, I threw in a couple of laughs. Let's get right to it. Start off with some serious tweets here first, and then we'll get to the laughs at the latter half of it. This one comes from First Squawk. Apple's incoming CEO, John Ternus, who's going to turn us around. Thank you, 13. Our mission will remain unchanged under my leadership, and we are on the verge of transforming the world once more. We've heard hyperbole before. We've talked a lot about some of Apple's struggles. We've talked a lot about how getting Tim Cook out of there might maybe free up some of these struggles. Ternus is telling you he's committed. Apple's going to change the world. If this is true, that stock price is definitely going to be higher, and Apple is absolutely a buy. Let me ask you, who here thinks this is the case? Who here thinks that Apple has the ability to change the world. Just be very curious to know who thinks that. All right, producer, next tweet. All right, this one here, one of my favorites. This actually was an initial tweet by the Tom Lee tracker. Tom Lee says the next 18 to 24 months could be the best of our lives. Gary Kathbaum, who's a great follower on Twitter, says he's obviously not a Mets fan. So as soon as I saw this tweet, I immediately thought of our chat member, Brian. Brian, what do you think here about the next 18 to 24 months? You'll have to let me know. Producer, next tweet. And the next one here, this is probably my favorite tweet. This is definitely what Wall Street is talking about. Our friends, Story Trading, have a new office, and it overlooks the Strait of Hormuz. Ben and Rhett, they're coming live from their new office here. They're going to give you live reports on all of the traffic going through the Strait of Hormuz. We appreciate the Story Trading groups. They're awesome. Really good stuff here. We're gonna have some fun with this. So street tweets for you today, everybody. All right, let's go ahead and get started with pre-market pulse. All right, 13, how you doing today? Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? How is everybody else? So Apple changing the world, huh? If it's anything like what I was texting you, then that could be true.
Did you text me this morning? Did I miss something?
No. We had a whole conversation about Apple and Nike and Tim Cook.
Oh, I'm sorry. I related that to Apple and Nike because I think that. Do you really quickly want to talk about that idea?
It's super speculative. I don't even know if it's going to be a thing, but it was really weird to me how the week before Tim Cook, had that whole announcement with his CEO departure to become an executive chairman. He bought over 1 million of Nike shares, and I thought that was unusual because Nike. He's on the board for Nike, and there are requirements that board members have to buy shares, but he doesn't need to buy more. He's already met all the requirements for how much a board member is supposed to have. So this was just purely because he believes in the company or something like that, to that effect. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it's because he believes in the company. And I just thought it was really, really strange that, and I know that Nike is at a major discount, but I thought it was really strange that he would buy so much and then the very next week looking to leave Apple, when both of these companies are really leaning heavily into wearable, not just wearables. I know Nike's an apparel company, but like wearables with sensors that are so advanced that they're able to detect, like heartbeats and different biorhythms, and they're meant to, they're fitness wearables essentially. And with Apple Health, this was starting to make me think that, well, maybe one day we're going to see Apple Health be this ecosystem where you have these devices that are giving all this data about your health in real time, and you're able to send that off to your insurance provider or your healthcare provider, and they can make more informed decisions about your health and maybe even have your rates go lower. Just a wild speculation about what might happen, but everything's all in place for this. So it was just something that Ryan and I had talked about. Just thought it was really interesting.
And I apologize, 13, because I actually do think this was interesting. I view this, I guess, more as a Nike story right off the top because Tim Cook is leaving, but you're absolutely right. And I think that is Nike actually a buyout target for Apple? Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Apple's next move into wearables or delve into wearables is acquiring a major brand like Nike or something like that. I think this whole thing is fascinating. I think this whole thing is fascinating. And Jay is saying, Nike, so a watch on your shoe? Well, no, but technology built into the shoes that is able to provide you data that you're able to derive insights from.
Nobody said anything about telling time on a shoe.
Well, there's a commercial right now with Kevin Hart where he gets an Allen Iverson, or I think, where he gets a shoe phone. Anyway. Okay.
We had shoe phones with Get Smart. We're done with that.
Okay. Anyway, 13. This is an interesting thing. I know it's very speculative. You're basically taking breadcrumbs and reading tea leaves, but it is what it is. I appreciate you sharing that with the group. Okay. Let's knock out some of the movers, shall we? Okay. First one here is going to be AGPU, and this is one that Brent, I believe, was already on here. This is Axe Compute. X Compute receives $260 million in a 36-month contract to provide 2,304 NVIDIA B300 GPUs. They're trading higher after they announced this, and it will AI-focused high-speed storage infrastructure from a single U.S. Tier 3 data center facility. Excuse me. So this is our 100% runner here today. Stock is up 561. The stock closed at 488 yesterday. Does have 5.69% of the float shorted with 3.56 days to cover. So there's some short interest in there, but it's pretty minimal, frankly. 1.8 million shares is your 100-day average. It's done 27 million here today, and the float is just shy of 3 million. 13, what do you think here, AGPU for a trade?
I think that headline was starting to sound a little boring to you because it seemed like you were falling asleep there for a second. But anyway, there's a big loss on this one that they just realized last year. That was from unrealized digital asset losses. Company has no revenue, has some cash, so going to need to see some of that contract money show up on the balance sheet because they don't have a whole lot of it otherwise. But this 36-month, $260 million contract, that's what's lifting it up here today. Don't have a whole lot more to add to that. You covered pretty much most of it. I had support at $8 with VWAP as resistance for now. We did try to test it once when we lost VWAP. Was rejected, but we're still hanging out here above $8. And it's actually, we're above $9.75. But $8 is the big resistance that I have down from where we are. And beneath that is the 65 EMA. But seeing as how we're going sideways here, I'd be watching to see if we can try to move back up towards VWAP again.
And we are, in fact, in a bullish fair value gap. It is a huge one. So obviously trading this one, you're going to have to be very careful about a stop if you do end up doing it. We broke in here. We've been unable to break out yet, although it looks like it's flirting with that. That VWAP does give us target 1 above, and then maybe the $14 pre-market high, maybe target 2 if it continues to bounce. Webcoin here saying, AGPU, the details are not clear. The $260 million value of the contract may be mostly the cost of the GPUs.
Probably.
So just something to think about. There we go. AGPU. We'll see what we end up getting here. Next one I have here is HCAI. This is Houchen AI Parking Management. Okay. Stock closed at 679 yesterday, is up 30% here today. This thing actually traded above 14 earlier in the pre-market here. I don't have any news on this. The last piece of news was a general one from Friday about the Strait of Hormuz affecting other stocks. So I don't know if there's something fresh here that's driving this or if this is just a room pump or something of that nature. But stock is still holding higher here by about 30%. Taking a look at the short interest on this, negligible. There's nothing here. 0.71% of the float short at 1 day to cover. That is a non-factor. On average, it trades 324,000 shares per day. It's done 4.5 million today. Float is 14.7 million. 13, I know this might be slim pickings here, but do you have anything on HCAI?
Yeah, I looked at this one, didn't see any news on it. I did look at the chart and thought, well, maybe that's what it's going on. We had this big impulse move that took us up to the 200-day SMA and looks like just above the $16 level. That was back on April 7th. We gave all that back, all the way back down to where it started on April 6th. But because that's pretty much where it looks like the floor is, and we just recaptured the 20 and 50-day SMAs again. I'm thinking that this is just the end, or maybe another component to this current rally that we've been on over the past couple of days. On Monday, we started climbing up again. Yesterday, we climbed through the 20 and 50-day SMAs. We captured those levels and closed over them. And now here we are above 8 again, which is the mid of the top end of some of the price action we've had since we lost 8 on February 4th. We're coming up to some pretty tough resistance, in my opinion. There's a big supply area that was established basically from the end, like the middle to the end of November, all the way to the beginning of February. So that area of consolidation there is where I think we're going to see a lot of resistance at. That's going to take that's going to potentially take a resistance as high as 11, maybe even 12. But 11 looks like the kind of the top there for a lot of that supply zone. So if we do manage to push through it here this morning, I would think that somewhere between 11 and 12 is going to be the big resistance area.
Okay. I mean, 12, even from the intraday pre-market chart, 12 actually looks like a pretty sticky area. So I like those levels as well.
Big Hurt's right. I mean, you just have to look at a daily chart and you can see that every time this thing has a pop, it just kind of comes right back in. So
okay. Buzz Lightyear saying it did a 1 for 30 split on April 13th. And indeed, April 13th of this year, a recent 1 for 30 reverse on HCAI. Good mention there. Buzz Lightyear, good to see you. To infinity and beyond, yay. All right, next stock here is going to be ELPW. This is Elong Power. We've traded Elong Power before.
Yeah.
Traded this one before. Looks like this spiked up to 260 before coming back in. We've lost the VWAP. We've kind of struggled with getting above the VWAP. I have no fresh news on this. Last piece of news was a form from Monday in the after hours. So no fresh news on this. Stock is up just about 50% or 50%, or 30, up about 45 cents or 30%. Easy for me to say. Float here, or short interest here, 3.21% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. On average, stock trades 1 million shares, done just shy of 10 million today versus a float of 1.40. Look, this is the only thing I have. We've traded this one before. So we know, look, this is what the daily chart looks like. We know this thing can move. We know it can pop. We know it can drop. I think the last time that we traded this was probably, I don't know if we did it on April 7th there, but I think back in the beginning of March, we actually did take a look at ELPW. So you might have some levels from that 13. Again, pop up to 260 here in the pre-market. We've lost the VWAP, the two tests. We really couldn't close above it, and we continue to melt lower. Maybe this thing turns around, but this is not on my list of targets here today.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly is driving this, but I am seeing that a lot of the battery names are kind of up slightly this morning. So I'm just wondering if maybe there's just a broad sector or broad segment of names that are just getting a rise because the ceasefire was extended. I don't know the exact reason, but I'm just noticing that we're seeing some battery names that are like up 1-2%. This one obviously up more on no news, but I think because the float's so low, and there was one other thing that I noticed with this. Let me go back to the chart here, see if I can see it again. But I think, I don't really know how great this one's going to be, but I think it's just moving on some battery. So, okay, the VWAP, that's what I wanted to talk about. The VWAP has been kind of providing the resistance all morning here ever since the move that took us all the way up to 251. I think we started this move last night, and then this morning we had the highs. So, but all of that, so we rode the VWAP up, and then this morning when we had those highs, we have been struggling to stay above it. So with this current formation that we've got going on here as we approach the open, it looks like we're trying to launch from the 65 EMA up to the VWAP. Now we could break through the VWAP, but as we've seen before, we could also get sold. That could get sold into and taken right back down. So I think that's what might be coming next with ELPW, is another move or attempt to get to that VWAP, and not sure what's going to happen. Probably break through it and then sell right back off like we have before this morning.
Okay, good stuff there. ELPW, we'll see. All right, the next one here, WBuy. This is WeBuy Global. We've traded this one recently. Someone else was bringing this up not long ago in the chat here. Can't find the comment, but it was brought up here. This thing spiked up to 180, came all the way back in. It's been beneath the VWAP, cannot recover it, or cannot recapture it, excuse me. Record-breaking performance for the company at the Natas Fair in March of 2026 with over 3.34 million in travel bookings. That's USD travel bookings here for WeBuy. So getting some news about bookings, that's driving the stock higher, just about 20%. We'll see if it gets any more juice off that. As far as the short interest goes on here, totally negligible. 1% of the float shorted, 3.42 days to cover, and that comes on the 1.13 million shares. This thing's already done 20 here today, so no problem. Float on this one's 4.9. We've had some success with WBuy in the past. Might we see some more success with this today? I think for me, anyway, it's probably got to get above this VWAP. I've got it at 148. 150 makes sense too. Looks like 146 was a recent pre-market high. The volume's really died down from the impulse move, so I'd like to see this accompanied with volume expansion. Maybe we do get that. 13, you got any thoughts on WBuy here?
The last time we saw a big move in this one, it gave it all right back in the regular session. That was April 6th, and we opened and it just pretty much popped and then sold off. And that was also when it went through the 65 EMA. Now we are, I think we've been trying to hold above the 65 EMA because we've traded up to that this month, and we've been getting a close or two over it. We're beneath it at the moment, but we're very, very close to holding above that 65 EMA for a longer period of time than just a day or two. So that's number one. Number two, when I go to the intraday chart, is that we're trying to get above VWAP. That's going to be at 150, and there's a lot of sellers at 150 that I can see right now. 150, 152, 149, all a ton of sellers right now trying to get out of this thing at VWAP. So, and I didn't cover this one. I'm just kind of telling you what I'm seeing here with the charts. But that's kind of where I'm at with this right now. VWAP looks to be resistance. 65 EMA on the 5 minutes is going to be support. And then on the daily chart, if we do manage to pop back up above that 65 EMA, which we're going to likely open above if we stay here at this price by the time it hits 9:30, we could end up seeing another move similar to what we had on April 6th, where we pop up to a certain price, maybe 160, and then come right back in. This thing just doesn't have a very good history of holding above the 65 EMA, the daily 65 EMA for too long.
Okay. All right. Last one I have here on the movers, and then we'll take, unless you've got something else that maybe I hadn't covered. Last one I have here on the movers is Xanadu. This is Xanadu Quantum. This is ticker XNDU. This had a big move down yesterday. Really not a whole lot of bounce. I guess there's a little bounce in here, but it wasn't a whole lot. Now we are getting a move back to balance here in the pre-market. So this stock's up 17.5%, just about $27 here on XNDU. Monday is the last piece of news I had. They got a $43 price target from Northern Capital Markets, but otherwise, I don't have anything fresh on this driving it here today. Looking at the short interest, I actually don't have a read on the float. 345,000 shares are held short. I do have a read on the float. Excuse me, 20 million. So the short interest here, not a whole lot. Don't know if it's going to come into play. On average, trades 3.2 million shares, done 710,000 here today versus a float of 20 million. 13, I assume this was not on your list here today. So
no, but kind of an interesting formation here. It's kind of a new issue as well. Only IPO or I don't know if it was a merger or whatever, but I only have price action going back to Friday, March 27th.
Same.
And we kind of had a little bit of a floor established here down in the 7 handle, and then we took off on April 10th and really haven't given a whole lot of that back. We did go all the way up to 42.50. We're down here a little less than or a little more than half that, but we're rebounding after a 3-day sell-off. So maybe $30 could be a resistance area from just looking at this daily chart. There was another thing here that I noticed. So they design photonic devices.
Yeah. Here's the quote on that. I was waiting to see if you touched on the photonic devices. Here's the quote on that. Quote, "We're building around photonics because we believe it offers a scalable path to fault-tolerant systems. And we combine that with leadership in software through Penny Lane, which has created deep engagement with users and partners working on real quantum applications today." That came from Weedbrook, the CEO.
Okay. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. Photonics is growing to be a very big part of the semiconductor space, something we've been talking about for a couple of years, it feels like now. And Honeywell and IBM have a lot of, I think Cisco as well have a lot of photonic patents. So, we'll see how that all plays into this company, but still a pretty new issue. I don't know a whole lot about this company.
Yeah.
But great to hear that we have another player, a quantum player in the game that's looking at photonics.
Yep. Alpha Trade here saying Xanadu is owned mostly by 2 companies. So it's that. There you go. The article that I have here goes on to say Xanadu systems are designed to use photons instead of superconducting qubits or trapped ions, a path Weedbrook argues is among the lowest risk and most scalable routes to fault-tolerant utility-scale quantum computers. So maybe we'll have different ways of achieving the same means. I don't know. But this is interesting, and I agree with you. It's nice that we have another quantum player here. Maybe we'll give it some time to get some price action. What do you got?
There was one that I looked at here today, and I was already kind of digging into it, and I realized that it really didn't have a whole lot of session volume. But that INBX is one that I looked at, and it's still climbing, just on very low volume. This is moving because its experimental cancer drug is being eyed by Merck and its rivals because it's got Keytruda ties.
Yeah, tied to Keytruda. Yep. Mm-hmm. And for anyone that wants this, let me actually throw this here in the chat, 13. But what a move on this. This thing's up $65.
Yeah, but it's only made this move on less than 300,000 shares. It just hit 300,000 just now. So this is going to be, it's going to whip around potentially. I mean, it's going to move around a lot because of how illiquid it is, and it's not really trading a whole lot. And it's kind of expensive too, but that's what it's moving on. The company INBX doesn't have any revenue really. It has lots of cash though, and the short interest, I believe, is if I was looking at this correctly, yeah. It's got almost 20% of the float shorted, 8.5 days to cover. So this also is likely participating in a short squeeze here. And the float that I have here is 10.6 million shares. I don't recall if I had any levels on this. I don't think I found any, because as soon as I realized that this was trading on less than 500,000 shares, it's like, oh, maybe this is one we're going to want to look at. But here we are talking about it now. So let me just look here and see if I can identify some levels. We are, 150, clearly that's a spot because we are running into some resistance there. Go back to this. So, okay, so 152 is a high print I have here on my broker, 152 exactly. And we don't have, I don't think we have any real price action up here. So we're in blue sky territory big time.
Yeah, and this thing, let me tell you, this thing does have an options chain, and every single option is in the money now. Every single contract, no matter when you bought, when the expiry was, or what the strike is, every one of them is in the money, all the calls. So this is going to be a big winner for some folks here today. Congrats if you had this one. Yeah,
and to be honest, I really don't know how to jump into this quite yet. I don't think right now is the time at all. We'll see. I would want to wait and see what happens out of the gate here. If we come back in and we find support from VWEP, maybe there's a trade there. But this thing has just gone on a very, very big move on very little volume. So just be very careful. That's all I would say.
Okay. 13, is there any other stock that you would like to cover before we open?
No, but Jay, that's a great idea. Car and inbox, short squeeze merger. Perfect.
Boeing here, 13. I wonder if you have any Boeing levels. Boeing reported earnings here today. They're higher by 4.54%, trading at just about 230 here today. Chris, I appreciate you. You were giving out some levels earlier on Boeing. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Yeah, I see a lot of resistance at 230, basically right where it is now. But if we can push through it, I'm thinking 245 on Boeing. I've got 254 as a trend line break too. I don't know if we get all the way up there, but that would be a couple of spots here. 13, I'm going to step away real quick, leave this chart on the daily. I'll be right back, all right?
All right. I do like the 240 to 245 area a little bit better. There's a lot more instances of the price finding resistance up there. So I would think that's going to represent a bit of a stronger resistance area. So we could move through 230 and just keep going. And then once we get to 240, then it really starts to slow down. I'd be looking, I'd be more inclined to see it that way, but I'm not going to say that the 230 the area isn't, going to provide some measure of resistance. That's certainly going to happen. But I don't really have a whole lot more to add to that. I'd have to read through the earnings, but it seems to me like, the 240 to 245 area is going to provide the bigger area of resistance. And if we do manage to get through that, then you have 260 afterwards, 255, 260. There's also a trend line that I think all of us have drawn at one point that started from the March 15th, 2021 high. And we drew it through the December 2023 high. And that's, it almost took us to the January high. We didn't quite get up there, but that's the trend line that I think is in play for the moment. Soundhound and CHH possible squeeze for sure. I think with Soundhound we did see some, and CHH that's probably got to have some of the biggest short interest I've seen in a while. Don't know what's going to cause that to start going unless everybody that's in cars gets tired and looks for something else, and then maybe they move on to Hertz or CHH. But anyway, that's what I've got for Boeing. I would say, yeah, that 240, 245 area looks like a bigger zone of resistance.
Okay.
Now,
all right, really good stuff. We're less than a minute till we go, or till we open.
Did you see that GE Vernova reported?
Sure did. I actually reported on that this morning in the news section here. GE Vernova up almost another $100, up $90 here today, 1,081. I know, 13. We're still waiting for a pullback on this.
No, that's fine. Like my whole plan with this is done. It's over. This thing is extended. I mean, and you know, it didn't look like there was still that whole thing about, you know, the backlog and are they going to even have enough materials in order to meet that backlog, and or how long is that going to take? Yeah. Great that they've got, you know, a lot of orders, but it's, you know, it's just going to take a long time for them to meet those orders. And well, I'm not sure what's going to happen if it takes too long for some of these companies, but it's still extended up here. Yeah. Great job if you still have it. I'm already out of this. Congratulations if you got it.
And thank you, 13, for the idea. Jay mentioned earlier Pega, P-E-G-A. You see the earlier post thoughts. Pega, this is a small software company, I believe. They reported earnings here, and they're trading higher on the back of that earnings. Jay, I think you're wondering if this is maybe a precursor for other software companies' earnings reports?
INBX higher. So far, that's the one that's moving. Oh, Redwire out of the gate having a big move.
This INBX, I have a feeling this thing is going to be crazy here, and it's probably spread like mad. I've got it 147 by 152. It's not actually that funny.
Redwire, this thing is just, look at this thing go. RDW. This thing is just kind of ripping right out of the gate here. Not sure what's going on.
NBIS ripping out of the gate as well.
Looks like Redwire becoming a partner of Washington Commanders to showcase military appreciation.
Huh.
Okay. Well, whatever it wants to run on, it's going. 1121 now the high. And let's see here with some of these movers. AGPU initially selling out of the gate here. What's up?
This is just really interesting to me. This company is going to be a partner of a football team.
Yeah. Okay, so INBX, we did hit 155.29, kind of turning around here a little bit. We buy, trying to push above or up to 150. AGPU, not doing a whole lot. Initially selling out of the gate here, but.
By the way, there is levered ETFs for GEV. So there's a couple of them, the 2X ones. It's GEVG and GEVX. Those are both popping here today nicely. Now you were talking about AGPU, right?
AGPU kind of selling out of the gate here, but not really breaking down yet. Don't think that we really get a breakdown until we start losing that 965 area, which we're coming down to pretty quickly. HCAI. Okay, so ELPW getting a little lift here, trying to get up to VWAP. We buy still struggling to get over 150. INBX, we're still seeing some more selling now.
INBX coming in. That thing's still really spread here. Well, actually, I've got it 135 by 138, so it looks like it's tightening up a little bit.
Okay, so getting some support with AGPU again down at that 950 area. I think Bitcoin is having a good morning.
It sure is. Bitcoin's up 4.68%, 78,775 on the futures. 13, to me, it felt like risk on all morning here with the Bitcoin price.
Yeah. Okay, ELPW, here we go. Making its way through VWAP. Now, this is probably because of how it has been trading before, and I don't know if this is going to work again, but this is kind of where I think the selling might start to pick up. We've already had several times where this is, printed over the VWAP and then came right back in 5 to 10 minutes later. So we'll see if that ends up happening again here.
Okay, Webcoin mentioning that BYND is popping. Beyond Meat, that was after yesterday. That popped. This is still lower than the price was yesterday, though.
INBX halted to the downside.
I guess we're not necessarily surprised to see that. Kathy mentioning GEV, that continuing here, 1,100 now.
Oh, Jay, AVEX is running. AVEX out of the gate. We got some movement coming up to some of these resistance areas from yesterday around 38.
Now, I'm glad that you brought this up, 13. I'm really curious. We got a pop out of the gate yesterday, too, and then a drop. And this actually made for a fairly decent scalp. That's one of the reasons why I took this. I'd be curious to see if we get something similar here today. So I'd want to know. In fact, I'm going to set a price alert here just in case I change my charts. We're going to go below 36.50. When that happens, I'm going to be alerted to that. We might have another scalp trade here on some of these drone names. Drones actually look pretty good out of the gate. Ondas traded higher. Let me just take a quick look at UMAC here. That's also higher. So drone names, good out of the gate across the board. How about Swarmer?
I was just going to say, let's look at Swarmer. That's down 6 and dropping down to $40.
AI Rod is back. Hey, team.
Hey.
Hope all is well. It's better now that you're here, AI Rod. Hopefully you are well also.
Thinking about it.
AHR hit 100.
And we knew it would. You guys have been on this thing so well, and you've been making the case, and we've been listening, and you were right. And we knew this would happen.
I love this probably more than almost anything else we do on the show. When we have stocks that the whole group or most of the group is on, obviously we can't have 100%, but when we have a stock that the most of the group is on that just outperforms like this, like I think about AAOI, AEHR. These were great. I remember trading this around its earnings when it was $20. Should have held that. By the way, your ELPW did move through the VWAP and is holding higher than the VWAP now.
Yep. Let's see if it can hold here. VWAP I have at 220. We'll see if it can hold. Because if we do get some closes, like we already got one close. We need to see at least 2 more. That might give us enough footing to launch higher if we can, and be a little bit of a break from the norm here. But let's see what happens with this candle in the next one. Also, yes, USAR, fantastic that we are getting some more movement here. We are coming back up into a consolidation channel that was established back in October last year. So we could see some resistance as we enter this channel, but this is exactly what we wanted to see with this break of the trend line here. Now, what can happen, being that we are extended here, and I think this is going to be the same case with CRML, since I'm kind of tying CRML and USAR together because of how similar their charts are. CRML not having as good of a day as USAR, but with USAR, I'd be looking for a back test of the trend line that we broke. That's what I think I'd want to see next. Back test that trend line, and then when we get support from that, let's launch.
ELPW, speaking of launch, this right through that VWAP, right up to one of the other pre-market resistance areas. The only one that we have left here is up at 257. So ELPW, I'm not in this one, but if I had taken this, I would definitely be booking some gains here.
Look at AMPX. That thing is that's my favorite battery play. That is up as well. New all-time highs again. I think it's going for the trend line. I would take it up to about 30.
Oh, you know what? I think I have my trend line in a different chart, but let me re-add this here.
Yep. July highs from 2025 and October highs from 2025.
Yep, I see it. What was that? October? Yep.
Yeah. So if we're going to where this trend line is, that takes us up to 30. Now we are getting extended here, so I would expect there to be some pullback at some point. But it looks to me like 20 has some good support. So that's where I would kind of place the support if we did start to come back in. Wow. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but AGPU, INBX, and ELPW are all halted.
Okay, ELPW, the only one halted to the upside, right? AGPU halted to the downside, and then INBX also halted to the downside, right? Still, that was the first one? Yeah.
Yeah, that might halt pretty soon here. Because INBX has been halted for a little while now. Wow, Redwire printing 12. 12.15 is the high. LWLG up 12%. Fantastic.
It's been another pretty good swing there for Kath.
Oh, Kathy, MWH, megawatt hours. So this is Solve Energy. This one, recent IPO. Yeah, this one is taken off as well. I'm telling you, the battery names are doing pretty good. Not all of them, but they're looking pretty good. to me, with MWH, the big level that they had to get over, it looks like it was like 32. And now that they're over it, that kind of strikes me as support. We are getting extended up here, though. I think the price with MWH could still extend a little bit higher. But if this starts to come back in, look for support around 32. That's what I would be looking at.
Wiz mentioning GP, this thing just went vertical here. I've got nothing in terms of like a fair value gap or anywhere to try. I wasn't in this one, but this rocketing here. James asking, is ELPW, halted? Yes, it is.
Green power motor. Okay. Are we going to see a whole bunch of green plays start to go because of the Strait of Hormuz issue and oil? Is everybody just getting tired of oil? Is that what's happening?
I suppose that's possible. Jay says, I continue to like small and mid cap in space versus large cap grid power optical semis. Okay.
Yeah.
GP, by the way, might be finding some resistance here at 150.
INBX unhalted, went lower, and is it doesn't look like it's halted right now, but it's still trading, trying to hold above 115.
Nasty move there.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying. Be careful with this one. Very, very thinly traded. But, man, it had some great moves today. So hopefully people got out with the gains that they got. All right.
SPY actually looking like it tried to bounce once here. I did get a couple of buy signals on the indicator, but I'll be honest with you guys. In Thinkorswim right now, some of my charts, especially for contracts, are behind and not updating. And that makes me very weary about placing trades. So no position for me on the SPY here. I'll let you know if that resolves. It might just be something specific to me. But I'm looking at a chart here for an option contract on my active trader tree, and it is not updating. And the SPY is moving. And that just started updating, and now it's readjusting. Yeah, I don't like that for the purpose of trading. Hearing a lot of toss issues right now. Brian can confirm. Brian, I hope you're not offended by some of the Mets jokes that I've made recently, including the tweet today. It's all in good fun, brother. SPY, interesting. If it can get through 709, I think maybe we retry 710 here today, and maybe even higher than that. We'll see. Bitcoin is actually holding higher and looking like it's trying to go higher. So our risk on indicators still good. Apple also kind of wicked action here today. Chris, I know that you were looking at Apple earlier. That thing pulled back pretty much right out of the open and then immediately bounced. We're actually right at the pre-market high.
Car, not really doing a whole lot. It had some wild price action a moment ago, but right now it's trying to get back above VWAP. It was just sitting there doing nothing for a moment there.
Car above 800, went to 850, came back in. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness on Car. So we talked about this maybe going to 1,000. We had a gentleman yesterday in happy hour said 1,000 easy on this short squeeze. We're not even that far away from it.
A GPU back open again. Let's see, INBX. That looks like it's trying to put in a reversal candle here, but this one very thinly traded. So just remember to be careful if you're going to try that one.
That's spread $2 whole, by the way. This AGPU, I don't know if I trust any of the bounces in here.
Okay.
Excuse me.
AVEX, this thing, went to 37.66, came right back down to 36.29. Now it's trying to recapture the VWAP at 37. So this one also losing some volume, having a little bit of a tough time today as well.
Car short from 1,000. I mean, look, Zach. Oh man, I mean, we've been talking a lot about short and Car. I know people want to do that, but just got to be careful with that one. I see a lot of you folks screaming about Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat up 16 cents here today. It is trading higher on volume though. Car earnings report in the first week of May, Ryan. Indeed, I believe it was May 7th last year. I think it's scheduled for May 6th. I don't know if they've confirmed it, though.
Still haven't seen a test of the 200-day SMA and Beyond Meat, and that is typically a site of rejection. We're also very extended here with over a 73 RSI, so I aside from a squeeze, there's not a whole lot that I think is going to push this much higher.
Asked a
That's me.
small pullback before ripping. I haven't even looked at ASTS here today. By the way, your AGPU halted to the downside 803.
Yep. Coming down to the 65 EMA, which is at 758. That's what I have anyway.
Daniel's asking in a question here. So if CAR beats earnings, does that kill the short plans? I mean, I don't think so, because CAR's $800. Before the short squeeze, it was $130. I don't think anything has marketably changed at the company to make it 6x the value. Cam, this also is something I've been thinking. Cam says, I think 1,000 is too obvious, maybe 1,100. Look, that makes a lot of sense to me, but your guess is as good as mine on this. And then, Kathy, you were asking about VICR. Jay, you had said this was a beast here. This is up another $45 here today. Vicor shares are trading higher after the company issued Q2 sales guidance above the estimates and issued fiscal year 26 sales guidance above estimates. So another nice move here, VICR. You were asking me for thoughts on this. I am not in this. This thing's going absolutely vertical, though.
This could maybe be considered one of these bottleneck companies for the AI, theme. They make modular power components and complete power systems for converting electrical power. If you're building, you're building data centers and they have their own power plants. This is probably going to be one of those kind of companies that are going to be involved. We've seen Powell go, we've seen Eaton go. A lot of these companies that specialize in making electrical equipment for large commercial industrial uses are facing backlogs. So, and of course, GEB had blowout earnings, raise their guidance. This country, the United States, needs an upgrade to our electrical grid.
Looking at some of the insider sales here on Vicor, it looks like it's just been selling up here pretty much all year. March and April, lots of insider selling there. Has not stopped the stock price, though, at all. Continues to just rip to the upside. Take a quick look at what analysts think about this. Got price targets in the 260s. That's the most recent one. We're above that. VICR.
Yeah, you're right, Jay. ASMC too. AMSC, American Superconductor. This thing has been awesome. We captured the 200-day SMA yesterday. We are getting a little extended here, but what would be great is we just entered a gap fill territory. What would be great is if we can just cool off the RSI while holding above the 200. We get that, then I think we're seeing this gap fill pretty soon afterwards. Maybe we see it soon, but I think that with how extended the market this stock is, I don't know that we're going to gap fill all the way.
Market looks like it might be trying to go higher here. SPY did pop out of that consolidation and went through 709, so 710 would be next. Interestingly, Apple also at the highs here, so we'll see if Apple can reclaim 270. Bitcoin also moving higher. Looks like it might make a run at 79 or 80,000 today if that keeps up. So lots of bullish activity out there.
Yeah, Space Names are doing well today. I mentioned there from Wiz saying Cyda Space is doing well. It's up over 8%. That's I think the second best performer here today on my list. Redwire being the best one. We do have some red names here: EchoStar, Bello 3D, and Howmet Aerospace. And looks like Applied Optoelectronics is also down slightly here today, ranging from about 5 to 2% down.
Okay, here's Sats. This actually looks like it's trying to go lower. In the chat here, Dave Norby asking about Tesla here. Any thoughts on Tesla earnings? So Tesla, this is going to be the big earnings report tonight. Remember, Tesla, IBM, Texas Instruments, and Lam Research tonight. Do I have a line for Tesla earnings? Not really. I'm not playing this for earnings. No position on for me. I would open this one to the group. Anyone playing Tesla for earnings here tonight? Looks like a nice little dip and pop out of the open here. But I don't have any line for an earnings trade on this one, Dave. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that have we discussed this thought about how some shareholders of Tesla are going to liquidate their position to buy SpaceX?
Yeah.
Um, and we still haven't heard because we need to see the filing first. How much of those IPO shares are allocated to retail investors? Because there may be a situation where Tesla shareholders get early access in order to prevent that selling from happening. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. But just
you mean like depending on how big your Tesla position is, depends on how much SpaceX you can get. Therefore, selling it down would reduce how much SpaceX.
I don't know if it would be the size of your position or how long you've had it. I think I've been hearing more about long-term shareholders of Tesla having early access, but nothing's confirmed because we haven't had the filing yet.
So it looks like here, GP38 and Kathy saying, nope, not doing Tesla for earnings there. Trey saying Tesla, if it were based on earnings, the thing would be down drastically. Reggie taking the other side of that, saying go long Tesla here. It's hard to bet against Elon Musk.
All right, so all the halters are open. INVX trying to come back up towards VWAP. It's almost there. ELPW holding above VWAP. AGPU trying to climb back up towards its VWAP. That's about all that's going on with those halters right now. Red wire running into some resistance around 1225. Maybe come back down to VWAP for support around 1175.
Kathy says, I did buy LRCX this morning for an earnings play. So you think Lamb Research pops here on earnings, Kath? And is that just stock or did you take options on that?
Yep. I should probably just put that on this space watch list because I have the UFO ETF on there, but not the NASA one. I don't know what I was thinking. There we go. Now that's on there. Thanks for the reminder, Kenneth. Soundhound back to yesterday's high. What we got going on here with Soundhound? It's looking like it's taking making a bit of a long U-turn here. I'd be curious to see if we end up coming back down towards $7. If we go back down towards 7 and find support from the 20-day SMA, we might have ourselves a pretty hefty reversal pattern on our hands. We'll see what happens with Soundhound. Right now, it kind of looks like we're getting some sideways price action over the past few days. We'd need to see if we're going to trend lower towards the 50-day SMA, or if we're going to try and push up through 9. So that's what I'd be watching for with that one. RTX getting wrecked. So Raytheon.
That's interesting. You said that the defense names were dipping. You had an article earlier that maybe defense names would see increased spending because of the proposed budget, but looking like they're not doing all that well here today.
I think there's a lot of spending. Well, this is a little speculative because it just happened, but I think there's some concern about what went down with the Virginia redistricting. So a lot of things that the president or Republicans want to do in Congress or approve may not go their way. That's just what I'm thinking right now because of that whole redistricting that they're doing. Now, when it comes to Lockheed Martin, this thing is looking like it's pretty oversold. Let me see if that's the same situation with RTX. Yeah, these things are pretty oversold. I think potential reversals coming in these names. RTX, I would kind of pin around 175, maybe just the 200-day SMA. Lockheed Martin might come down to about 550 if it doesn't reverse here soon. But these are getting to be pretty oversold. I mean, Lockheed Martin's under 30 RSI. So just some thoughts there on what might happen with some of these defense names. They're looking pretty beaten down. And Lockheed Martin has earnings tomorrow. That might be a real interesting earnings play. Look at how much it's come down into their earnings. I think that could be a real interesting play. What do you think?
Lockheed Martin for earnings?
Yeah. And you know, I don't want to get into all that line. I don't disagree with you, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, Lockheed Martin, they have earnings tomorrow morning. They have really sold off. It's really tanked into their earnings print. So I'm wondering, maybe tomorrow we see a reversal. It's got a great setup, is all I'm saying here. I mean, this thing is just absolutely hammered down. They have earnings tomorrow. It might be a good trade. Just saying. I don't know what you think, but that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm trying to think here on the fly. I mean, I'm looking at the chart. I see what you mean about this thing being down. For me, I feel like I'd be bullish on all of these defense companies. I think this would be an all right trade for earnings, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see if how that goes. I already own Lockheed, but if that continues to come in below that level, I'd probably be adding. We'll see though. We'll see what happens with earnings.
Real quick, by the way, Tesla. So I know we were just talking about this. This has earnings here. Tesla actually just printing some new highs.
Elon Power just blasted off to 312.
That's ELPW.
Yeah.
So one of our movers actually doing pretty well here today. This has done well all morning.
Got support from that VWAP. Nice move there. Yeah, that's right, Jane. ASTS levels. Let me look here, because I imagine. Let's see. We ended up getting some. Yeah, it got really hammered down from their satellite being lost from that New Glenn launch. So it's recovered all of that over the past few days. We have come up to the 20 and 50-day SMAs, so that is providing resistance. That's kind of what it looks like right now, is that it's just a matter of, which moving average are we going to get through here? Are we going to get through the 50 and go higher? Are we going to go back down to the 200 and go lower? Those are the levels that I've got here. We get through the 50 and 20-day SMAs, we should get past 90. And then after that, you have 100, what I'd be looking at as the next resistance level. But for now, that's kind of what I'm looking at here with ASTS. Those moving averages is where the price is caught between. And yeah, I think that's what I'd be looking at. If this does come in some more, 80 could be a support area.
Meta just recaptured its VWAP intraday. This actually looks like if it can get above 676, maybe this goes higher. 680s possible. NMAX. Bit of volume. We'll take a look at that. Indeed, Newsmax popping here.
Really? Newsmax, huh?
Yeah, on some volume, up 12%, 12.3%. Market is holding in here. I know it tried to kind of pop earlier, didn't really get very far. Still holding here, just shy of 709. I still think that might be a key level for today. MBIS went red. Oh no, not yet. Sorry, it pulled back from its opening pop. Not yet red though. Today.
Ionic QBTS, Kathy is mentioning. What did Ionic look like today here? Up almost 6%. That's nice. Yeah, these quantum names looking like they're doing pretty good. Inflection, not really doing a whole lot today, but I still think this is one of the top 3 names for the quantum space. What else we got going on here?
Market's just kind of caught sideways here.
Yeah, it's not. It just feels like it's not quite sure what it wants to do. Feels cautionary. Looks like we're really starting to get some selling here in car, though. Oh wow, it is dropping 720 now. The print coming down to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, getting some support there at the moment.
Now, this is interesting because we saw a pullback like this after a pop yesterday, and it's actually bounced and closed higher. Mm-hmm. So I'd be curious to see if we get the same thing here on car. It looks like the volume also elevated here on car.
AGPU is trying to recover. It's come up to this area where you have the 9 and 15 EMAs and VWAP. So big area of resistance that's going to have to get through. It's going to need some better volume than what we've got right now in order to get through it.
Okay. A couple of stocks here from the chat that I wanted to roll through. FFAI, I know we've interviewed this company a few times here. Looks like Libertas mentioning this one. It is still a penny stock, but this had a big day yesterday. And actually looks like maybe if this can get through 60 cents, could have another big day here today. Volume telling the story so far. FFAI, no position for me on that, but just kind of watching it. And then Eric here in the chat bringing up Airbnb, which is a stock that we've looked at before, although I feel like we have not looked at this recently. This thing's been on a pretty nice multi-day run. This has actually been a pretty nice swing trade here. Airbnb shares are trading higher after Wells Fargo upgraded the stock from equal weight to overweight and moved the price target from 136 to 178. Here's what Airbnb looks like on the daily chart. Pretty nice that this is broken out of this sideways formation. I think I'd like to see a little bit more of this. 13, I'd be curious to see what you say about this, but I almost think that 155, your next really big resistance level here, also former support. That's ABNB, Airbnb.
No way we just got this. Okay. How far back does your chart go? Because we just
let me go to my bigger one because I know that I've had better history on this before, but that chart I was just on, not doing all that great. Let me see what I can do here for you, 13. All right, I've got this. I got good history on this. I got this going all the way back to 2022. What do you got for me?
Oh,
I think I see it. I think I see it already.
I need you to go back to 2021, but I guess we'll see if we can work it. Yeah, because I have a trend line that goes from 2021 through the high of February 2025, and today the price just hit that trend line.
Okay, so what's interesting? So you must have it something like this.
Like I said, if you don't have 2021, this ain't gonna work. You got to have 2021.
Yeah, can you give me a price where that originated from?
Let's go with 212.
So if we were to go all the way, and so basically what you're saying here is that it went
November.
through this peak. Yeah. So I'm going to try to estimate 2021, but I'm going to draw it through that same peak and then connect it here today. This is the trend line that you're talking about, despite the incomplete price history.
Yeah. Yeah, we just went to this trend line here today. Now, whether or not we get rejected, not sure. I would think that initially the first visit up here, which is today, would be initially rejected. Now, if this comes back down and finds support around 140, I think that's where the turnaround could happen to push this through the trend line. But I don't want to get too ahead of what could happen. This thing is already extended up here at the trend line, so I do think that we are going to see some weakness following this move here today.
Okay, SPY trying to move higher here. Same with the broader market. All three indices trying to break out from the pre-market high here. 710 up now on the SPY. We'll see if we pop that.
Forsman, well done on your Disney trade. That was great.
Boom.
You must have got like $12 to $14 out of that. Really good one. That's it looks like it could still extend a little bit higher to the 200-day SMA, but this is a great trade plan. Made great money. I think that there's nothing wrong with this whatsoever. But there is some resistance a little bit higher up here. So if we do go slightly higher, I think 110 might be some of the prints we'll see. But this channel that the price has been in for years, the price continues to bounce around.
Roller, Crispy Biscuit, I think you mentioned this earlier. I'm sorry I didn't get to it. Roller popping here. This is actually trying to move above a resistance area back from the middle of April when we traded this last time. Next spot higher than that, probably near 12. So Roller, this is one of the movers. Looks like it's getting action here again today. And then you guys are also mentioning Beyond Meat. Looks like that is still trying to move higher.
Roller broke nines. High Roller Technologies. This one that had that really crazy move in January. It kind of looks like it wants to go back up to 12. I'm just looking at a daily chart here. It's extended. So we could see the price turn around pretty soon, but there's this chance of the price still pushing higher because we have seen higher RSI prints than the 72 print we have right now. Nice 90% move.
AI Rod asking about IMOS. Can we chart this one? Here's IMOS. This is Chipmost Technologies. This actually looks like a fairly decent breakout chart here, or at least on that. Let me go to a bigger time frame. Yeah,
Forsman killing it with the Disney trade. Well done.
Forsman is Mr. Disney. Forsman is Mr. Disney. He has been for a long time. Forsman, by the way, been a Benzinga. Not to talk about you here, Chris, but Chris has been around the Benzinga ecosystem since around COVID. I enjoy seeing you around here, Chris. I know you've always been a really good Disney trader. This IMOS, AI Rod, can we chart this ticker? 13, I'd love to know if you have any thoughts here on the chart. This does actually look like a breakout here going on right now. This actually looks pretty good.
This looks like it's thinly traded. I'm just looking at the daily chart, and the way that it kind of just, has these gaps all over the place doesn't make it seem like there's a whole lot of price action. I see that it's got some. Well, I guess that's not true. Look at the volume on these things. We're not a single one of these days has like more than 150,000 shares traded. Okay, so let's look at this chart here in more detail. We have a golden cross that just happened last month on the weekly for IMOS. That's a good sign. I see a trend line here. It'd be crazy if we actually already hit that. Redraw that.
AI Rod says it's always low volume. However, it's in the right industry. We got asked this question. Tim Melvin got asked this question when I was doing a presentation with him last week. And he said that he actually likes that, right? He wants to be entering stocks when the volume is low, because when they get discovered and the volume moves to high volume, he already wants to be positioned for that. So something else to think about there when it comes to this low volume stuff here.
Now, you probably don't have data going back to 2004. Do you?
Well, again, let me go back to the bigger chart here. 2014, you said?
4.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Let's see. Ask and you shall receive.
Oh, all right. Okay. Do you see the trend now? All the way back to the beginning. All the way back to the beginning.
Right.
2004.
Yeah. So right here through these highs. Yep. Let's do it. Let's trend it up. I do love long-term trend lines. Is this what you're thinking?
Yeah, I would make sure that touches the August 2021 high, or whatever month that was.
October 1st, it looks like.
There. Yeah, so we're approaching that resistance from the trend line there. That takes us up to about 52. So not too far away from here.
52.
If
Absolutely.
you look at a daily chart, we're almost getting it. We're just on the doorstep of being overbought here. We just kind of left that range not too long ago, but yeah, I think that we're coming up to some resistance here. That's what it looks like to me.
Okay. By the way, I know you guys were talking about Apple earlier. Apple at the highs here, seeing some more call buying on the back. These are the 270s for this week. Excuse me. That was today. So it looks like short-term trades here on Apple. That is at the highs. See if this can get back above 270. Just sold the Apple long, Chris. This is a good day for Chris.
Yeah. ELPW, it's kind of going through a little bit of a pattern here. We have a big up move followed by 2 selling moves in on 5-minute chart. And then we repeat the process. So we should, until we stop repeating that process, it looks like that's what's happening here. So this current candle needs to shoot past 312. And if we don't, then there's a risk that the price might start to fall underneath the VWAP. INBX, this looks like this is going to go lower, maybe even crash through the 65 EMA.
Has that given really any bullish signals since we opened?
Not yet. No. This thing was running into the open, so I think that the selling was likely going to happen.
Thank you for reminding me, Marty. Marty's saying Apple going to change the world. Remember, that was from John Turnus yesterday, saying he's fully committed and they are about to change the world, almost hinting at something big is coming here. We did have a poll question from earlier. Apple is down after Tim Cook's exit. What's the play? 35% of you said that you're buying the dip. 31% of you said that you're waiting because there's more downside coming. 30% of you said they're sitting on the sidelines. So a pretty even distribution there about buying, waiting, and not really interested, kind of sitting on the sidelines. 4% of you said selling it. The leadership risk is real. So a lot of you folks, at least the vast majority, looking like they're at minimum holding. Some of you also adding.
I would like to see this hold above the 50-day SMA. I don't think I have a whole lot more to add to that right now.
Okay.
It's we got rejected from a trend. The highs from 2025, December 2025 through the February highs couldn't break this trend. So I think that's going to be your upside resistance. And if we continue lower, I'm looking at 260 where the 50-day SMA is.
And then JD here saying Apple, the new CEO is a smart cookie. Indeed, John's been in and around Apple for I think like 20 plus, maybe even 25 years. The other thought here is that being a hardware guy, maybe this is going to, increase some of the excitement around some of the innovation in hardware, maybe another big product here, and maybe even make some of those events a little bit more punchy. And then Car here, the other thing I wanted to mention here on Car, remember, this is similar, not the same, but similar to what we saw yesterday. Car traded down, did kind of find some support at the 200 EMA, bounced and ended up going higher. Well, today we've come into the 200 EMA. We bounced clean off of it instead of overshooting it. But keep watching Car here. No position. Volume actually looking pretty good. Remember, we talked about this maybe being a short when volume starts to compress a little bit. So far, not the case. Brian saying, pretty sure he was behind the iPad and the AirPods. Indeed, he worked on both of those teams, but he also worked on the Apple Vision Pro team. So it's not all, I almost wanted to quote Jerry Jones there, but that would have been bad and probably not safe for work and taken the wrong way. Not all roses there. Not all roses there.
He oversaw the transition with the Mac lineup from Intel processors to
Apple
Silicon.
Silica. Yep. Mm-hmm. And that was huge. Though I love the new Apple Silicon chips in the MacBook. It is, and I'm a PC lover, PC master race, but it doesn't matter. Those Apple MacBooks are absolutely incredible, and it's largely because of that chip.
Yeah. So we're probably going to see a lot more, smart home devices with Apple.
I'm still waiting to see if we see this Nike thing and these wearables and all. I know.
Yeah, I think the home devices and wearables are kind of the wearables in particular are a big market that they are continuing to push into. They've already had great success with that, but I think that if you consider that you could incorporate a lot of these sensors into full-on, yoga pants and yoga outfits and workout clothes that can, give you all the data you want. To help you meet your goals. I think that's where we're headed. I think sensors are going to be incorporated in clothing in a lot bigger way.
That's going to be wild. AGPU getting you mentioned here in the chat from Billy. Indeed, this is actually right back to a support level that it lost. So a recapture of this would actually set up for a potential VWAP reclaim if it continues that strength there. Buffalo by Bicycle says, I like PC desktops and Apple MacBooks. I am exactly in that position. My favorite Apple product is the MacBook Pro. I do think the AirPods are really awesome. AirPod Pro 2, I guess, if I'm being specific. But there's just no replacement for the PC desktop, at least not for me.
Now, with AGPU, one of the things I did this morning was drew a trend line because we did have a couple of peaks here in the pre-market. So we're making our way towards that trend line. It's looking... we just passed 10, but we are in a little area here of supply. That is going to be from 10 to 11. There's that $1 area of supply where we lost that $11 handle, found support at 10, and went sideways until the open. So we're in that supply zone right now, trying to get through it.
Palantir 150 recapture. Apple's still at the highs, and Bitcoin did take out 79K on the Bitcoin futures. With these gym influencers, Edwards, I wouldn't be surprised to have that come across in one of their mouths. I just now got that. Oh, Ed.
Yeah, and Daniel, that's kind of what I've been seeing too. Is that some of these Snapdragon processors in their Windows laptops are doing, they're really really good. So, good mention there on that. I think that's the case with their Snapdragons.
Zach says, I'm trading from my PC and watching from my MacBook. Best of both worlds. I got you topped. I got my PC desktop that drives 3 monitors. And above the 3 monitors, I have another monitor that's connected to a dock. The dock can plug into anything that's USB-C. So my phone, which is Android, my PC laptop, which I currently have right now, and then my MacBook. So I can actually use both ecosystems right from my main terminal. I've had to do that a few times when testing new product features and trying to dig through stuff. So that is the ultimate setup there. Big fan of docks, by the way.
Looks like
Apple more highs. Good Lord.
That resistance area with AGPU, that supply zone is still keeping the price suppressed for now. 10 to 11, that dollar range. Lots of resistance for the time being.
Jay, I like the 202. I like the 202. Probably my favorite simple moving average, the 200-day.
Let's look at Broadcom here. Oops. Yeah, I think this is, oh, wow. Looked at this one a little while. Very extended, coming up to the all-time highs here. Might see a little resistance up here at this level. Gosh, I did not realize this was tearing up so fast. Hadn't looked at it in a little while. Where does that put?
This is a good question here from Eric, actually. Eric's saying, how many times, let me go to the bigger chart to take a look at this. How many times will ABV, ticker ABBV, test support before it finally breaks? Looks like you're thinking 195 here. ABV, of course, at like 205 right now. So that would be a 10-point move. Let me pull up the chart and I can show what you're asking about. We do have earnings a week from today. So it's going to be before the market opens on Wednesday next week. Here's what your daily chart. If we started with the monthly, let me just start with the monthly since I was on that. We're basically right at the 20-month moving average. In fact, we're beneath it. We'll see where this month closes here. That's going to be important as you see what's happened the last time. But here's the support that Eric is asking about. This round 200 number, it looks like I'm actually pegging it here at about 201, but realistically 200 to 201. This is the support. Now, how many times is it actually going to test this before it loses it? Well, boy, oh boy, we've tested it thrice so far, haven't lost it yet, and we are still using the 20-day moving average as resistance. This is compressing here. Tell you what, this earnings report, if we don't have a decision made up by then, it is going to decide it for us. I really don't think this is going to hang right around here. Now, are they going to beat earnings and trade higher? I don't know. A lot of the stuff in no man's land here. We're right at support. RSI is in no man's land. MACD's not showing us anything. Chaikin money flow indicator not showing us anything here. So I don't really have a good insight unless we really kind of know what the earnings report is going to be. I would imagine that it would be an all right print, but I don't necessarily have a line on that. Also worth noting, we have the bottom end of a volume shelf here. I think if this breaks, I think you're spot on. I think your 195 price, an overshoot of the 500, probably coming in, Eric. I just don't know if it's going to do that from earnings.
I think this goes to 180.
Okay, so you think this is going to break and then overshoot that 500 down to 180. If I back out on the chart, 180, that was a Liberation Day, right? Yeah, that was, oh no, okay, it was a little bit lower than that. This was the back test of the Liberation Day move lower.
Draw a line at 180, and as we go to the larger time frames, I think it'll become a little clearer why I think that. But right now, on the daily chart, you have an imminent death cross that's about to happen. Now, this does have a lot of oscillation with the 200-day SMAs, so I don't know how strong this death cross is going to be because we could immediately recapture this next week on earnings. That's certainly a possibility. But we have a death cross happening here on the daily. On the weekly, we are not able to recapture the 50-week SMA. And on the monthly, we're about to close underneath the 20-month SMA. So losing all these, really important moving averages, especially that 20-month where the price is pretty much riding it up. If we do get this close underneath the 20-month SMA, I think we could see some lower prints underneath 200. But when you look at the monthly chart, you can see that 180 area, the 50-month SMA is coming up to that. I think we could end up going down to 180. That's what I think my expectation would be in the coming months, that we go down towards that price.
John here. John, I think that you're joking, but he says John Turnus is going to bring back the next computer lineup. That was a computer lineup from the Steve Jobs era, wasn't it? I don't think I know the specifics on that, but I think that you're referencing something back from the Jobs era.
Trey Blue mentioning that if you go out 5 years, the all-time high was 175, and yes, that's true. I think, well, I guess more like 4 years, but you're talking about the April 2022 high, because that was up to 175.91. I think that's what you're referring to, and it's levels like those that stand out as an area of support. So I kind of get what you're saying here about this being a support area, and that's right in line with the 50-month SMA just beneath the 180 level I'm looking at. So yeah, I like that 175 area too. I think the price eventually will come down and find support there, just based on the way these charts look. Yep.
Good stuff there, group.
All right, how are all our movers doing today? AGPU still holding above VWAP, so we might still get a test of that trend line. INBX coming down to hit the 65 EMA. ELPW
breaking down and pulling back in here. This is actually beneath its VWAP, doing its best to hold that 15 EMA at the moment.
And WeBuy is trying to hold the 200 on the 5-minute. ELPW, this looks like we're going to have a visit with the 65 EMA. MACD's about to roll over. We're trading beneath VWAP now after riding it all morning. I'm sorry, the regular session.
Sorry to interrupt, 13. I just saw a slew of Apple options trades come through the unusual option scanner here. It was a mixture of calls and puts, but the very end of this was a bunch of different put sweeps, highlighted by one that expires in the July month. The 255 put expires in July. Trader bought 1,000 contracts and spent $663,000 on that trade. There were a bunch of other sweeps at that same strike and expiry. Actually, it looks like this might have been over 2,000 contracts. Yeah, 2,500 contracts broken up into 4 different transactions. Expiry July 17th. The monthly's 255 put on Apple. That is a bearish bet there on Apple.
That's
into the power move that we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say it's lifting back up into that trend line area. But so what was that strike that you were saying?
255. The 255 put for July.
Perfect. Because I was just talking about 260 being this the 50-day SMA support. Perfect. I like it.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, that's HCAI trying to lift itself up. Man, this thing has been doing nothing. Have fun with that if you want, but this is trying to lift itself back over the 200 EMA. If it gets that, there's resistance up at 840. Don't know how great that's going to be. AGPU, on the other hand, climbing higher, pushing through that $1 resistance. It's in the $10 range right now, coming up to the trend line.
Would not be surprised if we end up touching that trend line now, 13, honestly.
It's funny because the next 5-minute candle might do that, and it would take us right up to the top of the supply zone at $11. That'd be pretty hilarious if that's what we end up getting.
How are those drone names doing? Looks like they all went red, right? Ondas pulled back. AVAX, this is actually down another 6% here. 6.5%. Swarmer down another 5.5%. This actually looks like it might go lower. Ondas pretty much back to where it started the day here. UMAX still holding higher here by 9.3%. This one looks better.
CAR is getting support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Incidentally, this is also the area where the highs from yesterday were being printed. So it looks like it's getting some support from the highs from yesterday. And if this is going to happen and go higher, it's going to have to turn around in this area.
Yeah, and remember that it was the 200-day, the 200 EMA on the 5-minute yesterday that really was the turnaround area. It looks like we're testing that again here today on CAR.
Yep. So the whole point is that we're coming down to yesterday's highs, which is now going to be a support area. And if we turn around and get that support, we should be coming back up through 800. But I don't know if that's going to happen. AGPU, we did, let's see, how high did this go? 1053. Looks like, how are the space names doing? Space names have gone, a lot of them have gone red. A lot more gone red. Not all of them. It's about 50-50 right now. And quantum names. What are the quantum names doing?
Take care of yourself, Judge. It's good to see you again.
Take care, Judge. Ionic. It's like that's running into a little bit of resistance up around close to 50. This is also pretty extended here since it had that news. What was it, last week? BLD. The buyout may have been bottom for home builder. DHI earnings yesterday, MAS today. AMPX went red. Okay, I mean, that has been flying, so it's about dang time.
Top build into the gap created from Friday to Monday.
AGPU still holding above VWAP. I'm going to go look at this BLD.
The market's still at the highs here. So NASDAQ, SPY, and Dow all near the highs. SPY's actually did push through 610.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. BLD, I mean, that's a nice gap that it created on Friday. It looks like this could end up filling the gap before it turns around and goes higher.
Palantir actually with a nice move here today. This would have been a fairly decent trade on the pre-market high breakout for Palantir. Indeed, Debt AI. Did you hit this one, Debt? This was a nice one.
Yeah, it's still in that that channel though. I guess what we want to call it, the Tim channel.
Is that from Tim's chart from Happy Hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can call it that.
So we did break a small trend here that was it started back in the end of March, but I think you're going to see resistance around 160.
Seeing some Palantir calls get bought amidst the strength.
Oh, it was bought out. Gotcha. Okay, thanks, Jay.
That Ondas giving everything back today. Was hoping that was going to stay green. You folks are mentioning Micron too. Micron breaking out to a new all-time high. Here you go on Micron. Indeed. What does the SanDisk chart look like?
I think that was down.
SanDisk has now gone back into the green. Not a new all-time high, but still up near here. Micron, however, indeed, all-time high. All-time high breakout there on Micron.
I mean, you had, I think you had like, what, a megaphone pattern forming on the weekly? Yeah, that's what it looks like. So here we are going higher. I have a level of 515 marked off. Don't know if that's where we're going to go, but we'll see. What does this give us if I do this?
How's Boeing doing today after its earnings? Boeing up 3.5%. Still stopping at 230. We called that 230 and 240 level earlier. Boeing's still obeying that here today.
AGPU breaking down now. All the movers looking pretty weak here.
AGPU rejected at the VWAP. Didn't even get to the trend line.
So what is up? It looks like a lot of things are
Apple, Palantir, Palo Alto, and Bitcoin all up.
So are we going back into tech hardware now? What's NVIDIA doing? That's slightly green, slightly above 200. had a nice 3-day move. Could see some selling today. mRNA's up. Why are space stocks hurting so bad? I mean, a lot of these have gone pretty big runs. Rocket Lab is still doing pretty good. That's still up in a 2-day move here.
You think we're seeing a little sell the news on the Astis headline about the FCC granting its application to modify its authorization to launch and operate?
No.
Yeah, just
no. I don't think that's what's causing all this movement here. Yeah, I only thing I can speak on is how well they've been performing, and probably just seeing some taking of gains. Spirit Airlines nearing rescue deal with Trump administration. Software is outperforming hardware today.
Daniel says Ondas is not down from the highs. Popped out of the open. It is straight down from the highs. Still holding on to green, however. Would like that to be the case. This is what we're referring to, price action. All right, 13, any closing words for the group before we move over to story trading here for today?
Well, it looks like the market decided to go and take a nap. Not going to say that isn't a bad idea, but I don't know if I will be doing that myself. Folks, I mean, I don't think we had nearly as much opportunities today, which is fine. We're going to be experiencing some days like this with all the geopolitical back and forth that's been happening. But tomorrow is another day, and we will have more opportunities. So just bring your capital back tomorrow. We'll have some more trades, and we'll make some money then. Take care, folks. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.
All right, 13, thanks very much. Really, really good stuff here. Before we move over to story trading here, I do want to talk about, we have a webinar coming tomorrow on the new era of proprietary trading, how traders are building careers in multi-asset prop stocks and futures. Why risk your own capital when you don't have to? Learn how modern prop firms are creating structured pathways for traders to professional capital across stocks and futures. We have a live webinar with Jim Simons tomorrow, risk manager at Prop Shop Trader. That webinar is going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern. The link is in the chat. The QR code is on the screen. So if that is interesting to you, be sure to check out that free webinar tomorrow. So there you go. Now, is Ben, I see your camera's off. Are you ready to go? Okay, Ben's camera's back on. Before we bring them on, I've got some really good news here. Saw this yesterday. Story trading guys are getting it killed here. That's a good thing, by the way. So much so that they opened a new office. New office overlooking the Strait of Hormuz. Oh my goodness, we are talking to the right people. Let's go ahead and bring on Ben and Rhett. I gotta say, I love it. I love the new digs, guys.
Oh, thanks.
Bring on Dougie Fresh as well. So
yeah, Dougie Fresh joining us as well. Laptop I wasn't able to make it today. Dougie Fresh helps us out with the technicals in our Discord community as a pure technical trader. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing really good, man. How's the weather over there near the Strait?
Is it? Oh, the Strait. It's nice. It's warm. It's dry. It's great.
Are there ships moving through it?
Right now, yeah, I see a couple ships moving through over there.
All right. You guys, first of all, if you don't follow Story Trading on X, do it. A lot of good stock information, and these guys are funny and do a really good job. I'll get out of your hair here. Ben, Rhett, right. Dougie Fresh, have fun. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Well, markets are just absolutely exploding. We stayed at green alert yesterday, today. We've been at green signal, we'll call it, in a morning note for a couple weeks now, capturing most of this move. But the new 52-week high here, I'm not sure if there's a catalyst that's doing that. One of my largest positions in my long-term account, so that's good. But I'm having a little bit of trouble. The high beta names, I don't know. We may be seeing a rotation today out of the high beta names into the mega caps, which is not fun for my positioning in my trade account right now. Right now, I'm getting my ass kicked in some of these drone names, AVEX, the recent IPO, UMAC, which was working this morning, but then I added more and it's failing right now. Black Sky with a catalyst at work this morning. Then I added on the dip, and I'm getting killed there. So The drone stocks are hurting me right now. My biggest position by far, though, is Robinhood, which is up 3% and choppier than I'd like to see. It's not like up and to the right like the Qs are. So mixed bag today, really mixed picture, and I'm a little bit worried that is there a near-term intermediate top in the high risk, high beta names? Did I get in at the wrong time here on these drone stocks today? So that's my concern right now. That's a big picture. Brett, turn it over to you for some of your opening comments here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, the market is ripping at the moment. Some of these names are seeing a little bit of pullback, but some names like MU are just exploded here. The Qs exploded, and a few others. So we're seeing some parabolic moves in the market. I mean, we saw it with car. We're starting to see it with. We saw it with air. We're starting to see it with AIP. AIP's been running. I mean, these charts are all starting to look the same. It's starting to go into the euphoric state. I feel like. So just be careful when navigating these markets right now.
I always say tis the season at the end of, and it's not even the end, but after you have a big run in the mega caps and at the industry level on the Qs and the SPY, people move down the quality curve as a lot, as Godfather knows used to say. Right, we move down the quality curve. We look for those lower quality names that are highly shorted, and they start targeting these names. Really, like that's all they're doing. It's nothing about fundamentals, nothing about catalysts. And even the hedge funds are doing it, right? This was a short squeeze manufactured by a hedge fund, car, where they're trying to manufacture a gamma squeeze on top of a short squeeze. So this is the same script over and over again. Every cycle, this is what happens. And we're in, as I call it, tis the season to be playing highly shorted names and looking for these short squeezes. So, but today looks a little messier and a lot of pullbacks. Some charts continue to look good, like EOSC breaking above the 50 after a recent inflection catalyst. We have MOB with an inflection catalyst yesterday, breaking key moving averages. We have RAP, which is maybe getting slowly known as a drone stock, making a pivot into drones, $90 million market cap above the 50 DMA here. Unfortunately, I'm not in really too many of these names. I'm in a little bit of EOSE, but right now I'm tied up in Hood, which is not too bad, all right, to be tied up in that right now, but I'm tied up in AVEX and UMAC and BKSY, so a little bit of a challenging morning for me here. Dougie, what do you got on, what are you seeing?
Well, I'm just looking at an overview market, and it does look pretty good, but we're way at the top right now. I mean, you got to be very careful up here. When you have your Qs and your SPY running up like this and all the way up here, they do look good to try to run up some more today, but I'm going to say that they have to be pulling back relatively soon. Crypto's ripping too. It's pretty crazy. 78,000 right now for Bitcoin, and it looks really good. I think it's trying to make its way up to that 86 area. It's not going to do it overnight, but it's going to get up there.
I haven't looked at the Bitcoin chart. Let's take a look because that impacts Robinhood. So that looks great. So actually, I'm surprised Robinhood's not doing better. Because if you look at, it's stalling out here, consolidating after this move based after the pattern day trade change rule. They have earnings on Tuesday, I believe it is, and this is my largest position. I just love this catalyst of lifting this, getting rid of this $25,000 limit. I think it's going to be a huge fundamental boon for the company. Good to know that Bitcoin maybe can be a tailwind here for Robinhood today.
Yeah, and check out Riot. Riot looks like it's about to have a riot again because that thing looks really good.
So,
and that's a crypto type one, like Mara, Riot, and CleanSpark. They all look pretty good. So it looks like it wants to continue up in the crypto world. So cryptoers are probably happy.
I'm happy just playing that with Robinhood. I don't really play those other crypto names. So
if there was one I would like to play in that name, it would be one we are familiar with. I'd like to play Cores. I mean, we're starting to see this parabolic.
Cores, more of a, I don't know about the other ones that you mentioned, Dougie. I know Cores is making a shift to AI data centers. I'm not sure if the Mara and the others are, but Cores is definitely like a AI data center stock. And yesterday they did a huge offering. So some people are thinking that although when I looked at the terms, the fine print on that offering yesterday, it looks like a refinance. I think they were paying off certain debt with new debt at a lower interest rate. I think that's what that was about. It's a complicated transaction. I'm not an expert in that, but so I don't know. I don't really play these AI data center names too much, except I own NBIS long term, and that's about it.
Good old
Yeah,
Nucleus.
definitely. The laptop wasn't able to make it today. He had a personal
Yeah.
matter.
So another name that I've made a huge position in recent days is Axon, AXON, and I suggested that maybe today it could break out in the short term, but it hasn't here yet. Well, it's gapped. It hasn't gapped above. It's
Yeah, it was
already
looking
down.
better this morning. It did pull
Yeah.
back a little bit. This might be a
But
good spot, though, honestly.
yeah, so Axon, I loaded up here at the bottom. I was very proud of myself in the long-term account, like April 10th and April 13th, and I put multiple alerts out. I hope everyone got them in our Discord for a long-term entry right there in the 340s, 350s, 340s. So that was beautiful. Already up $50. But I think there's a long way to go up from here. This is one of my favorite stocks, companies, I should say. One of my favorite companies that's always been very hard to get to because the valuation's always very, very extremely high. Now, I was listening to this conference call. I think it was the first conference call I actually listened to on February 24th. And after listening to that conference call, I understood why the premium is so high. These guys are growing fast, expanding. This is originally a taser company, and then the body cameras for the cops, and then evidence.com for all the police departments to process all the evidence and everything coming from the body cameras. And they're getting into drones. These guys are growing really fast. Very exciting company, well managed. And it got killed because of the SaaS apocalypse, which is, if you look at IGV, and interesting, it has not rebounded. This is such a compelling opportunity right now in Axon, I got to say, as RAP continues to go up. Shit. But IGV making a big comeback here, but Axon not yet going up with it. And this is very interesting because Axon's not it's being grouped in with the software companies. In fact, if you look at IGV, I don't know if I could do it from here, but I think Axon is one of the holdings. Let me just see on my phone. I don't know why it doesn't come up over here. Asset allocation. Well, service now. What was the Axon? I don't. It's not a top 10 holding, but it was moving with IGV on the way down. Okay, tick for tick, hasn't rebounded. But here's the key: Axon is not a software company. Okay, they have software. They have evidence.com. But that evidence.com is highly integrated into their body cameras and all of the hardware they have. It's very deeply vertically integrated, and it's a moat that is basically impossible to break. So if you look at, it sounds like I'm jumping down, but I'm not. I'm going to come right back to Axon. If you look at ServiceNow, this is a topic pick yesterday with a 105.50 target by end of day today. I didn't play it here at 103. 105.50 being the 50 DMA. Maybe it'll hit it today in anticipation. So we may see a further re-rate depending on how the conference call goes tonight for ServiceNow and how the earnings go. More of the conference call and the guidance, I think. But we may see a further re-rate in software stocks and reflected in IGV and after hours tonight after ServiceNow reports. And that's. But here's what I want to show you. Look at ServiceNow into the ER report, broke the 20, almost touching the 50. I expect the same thing to happen with Axon. Broke the 20, gonna touch the 50 or close to it before they report, and they report in about 10 days or so. May 5th to May 11th, maybe 2 weeks. Roughly in 2 weeks. Okay. So Axon made it one of my largest positions in the long-term retirement account, April 10th and April 13th. And then today, put it into the short-term account because of this break of the 20 and because of what's going on with ServiceNow and IGV. Maybe we can start making that move on the earnings anticipation run towards the 50 at $450. And again, this is such a great opportunity because it's always extremely overvalued and very hard. You got to hold your nose to buy this stock, but now it's just a lot easier with the with their price to earnings and forward PE and PS ratios. Everything's cut in half basically. from the highs. So it's a lot easier to buy it now. It's still expensive actually, but it's worth it in my opinion. So Axon made that a top swing entry alert for our community today. Wow, Hood is going the opposite direction of the Qs and Micron right now. Not fun. Got a big Hood position.
I actually just added Q quotes here.
Yeah, it looks like it's
So
going
see
to
how
pull
that
back
plays
right
out.
there, right? Maybe down to that 651 area.
A little USO. Maybe there was some news. I don't know. USO popping here.
That'll do it.
We'll see, but also at the same time, MU is still pretty strong, popping back up here, trying to push the new all-time highs again.
Yeah. So yeah, disappointing to see the weakness in Axon today. 20 DMA at 402, but I'm going to hold the line here. I'm going to hold this through the service now. Earnings tonight, and try to swing this with a price target of 450.
What do you think about Tesla's earnings, Ben?
Nothing at all. I hold it long term, and that's it. And I'm not going to try to play it.
Yeah, I mean, the chart looks good, but I don't like earnings either, and I couldn't tell you. It looks like a coin flip to me. It's sitting like right there on the 50.
No.
It could
I mean,
bounce
this
up,
is a
could
stock.
bounce down.
It is a stock that mostly moves on narrative and sentiment and guidance and things like that, because it's, on paper, fundamentally very expensive. But they got some good things cooking right now. A lot of irons in the fire in terms of their battery business, and the Tesla semis, and the
robots,
and the cybercab and all that. So, it's a tough one to trade in my opinion, unless you have like a really obvious crazy inflection catalyst, and then we do play them in the short-term account. USO red to green, by the way. So there could be some geopolitical news. Rhett, can you look out your window and let us know what you see there? We got to change it back.
See what's happening out at the
over
straight.
there.
Can we change it?
It's a little bit of cloudy right now.
But now, if you can actually take a look at the social media, those OSINT accounts.
Yeah,
take a look at those OSINT
going through
accounts.
the
See if
feed
there's
right
any news breaking geopolitically. But wow, Axon has been real weak today, unfortunately. Let's see what a Micron. Man, I have a big position, but unfortunately, it's all my retirement account. I don't get to see this money for another 10 years. Damn it. I wish it was my short-term account. Oh my gosh. Hood is weak. I'm actually looking for a V-shaped recovery in AVEX today. Maybe I'm dreaming. There's a recent IPO, which my buddy over at IPO Candy thinks is worth $40 a share. And you'll see a lot of other commentary on X telling you that this is like really cheap in terms of valuation wise compared to ONDS or RCAD or other drone stocks out there. This is trading at a deep discount. So there is like a hopefully an underlying bid there because of the fundamentals. And then we do have the drone sector in play because of the DoD budget that was going around yesterday. So for those reasons, I'm thinking AVEX can do a little bit of a V-shaped recovery here today and head back towards over $35 or so. I'm hoping, because I'm in this and I'm down, and as a day trade I got into it, and my average is right at $35. Okay, so today,
if it's going to get ripping, it's going to be relatively in the next like half hour, so right around 11:15. It looks like by then it should get moving.
So let's see, hoping
if it wants to.
Hoping on that, yeah. Did I talk about Identiv yet? I don't think I did. Let me talk about.
I don't think so. Looks
all
a
right,
little better right now.
Yeah, let's go to.
Your Mac is just sitting right here. RSI kind of reset.
Yeah,
it's trying to get back on the 5 minute.
BKSY. Yeah, the drone stocks look to be, at least these two that I have on my screen, look to maybe trying to curl up and a little bit of bottom in here. I probably talked about Identiv before on this show, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. But this is one I've been patiently waiting on for a big breakout, and maybe it's starting. So let's dig into the story a little bit here. Look at the daily candle. So as part of what we do at Story Trading, actually, if you go to our website and click on blog, you'll see the latest blog. So storytrading.com, click on blog. You'll see the latest blog I put up is all about my our philosophy on trading. We have our 4-pillar strategy, which is it's about looking at markets holistically. So instead of just being a technical trader, looking at only technicals, or instead of just being a fundamental trader, looking at like valuation and under over valuation, We look at everything. We look at markets holistically through the lens of 4 pillars, which is catalyst, sentiment, fundamentals, and technicals. It's everything. All right. And catalyst, sentiment, fundamentals, and technicals reflects all the different market participants that are out there. So if you want to understand why stock is trading where it's at, you have to understand the mentality of everybody. And when you put it all together, right, you get the net aggregate opinion of a stock, which reflects what you're seeing on the chart, right? So rooted in all of this, you can't have that philosophy. You can't trade 4 pillars unless you believe markets are efficient. So we believe markets are efficient, which means there's a story behind the trade. There's a reason stock goes up viciously or down viciously or trends up over time or trends down over time. It's not because markets are inefficient. There's a reason behind it. All right. So go read my blog. It's very fun, interesting read. Ryan, you should read it. Everyone, Benzinga back studio there. Read my blog on efficient markets. So since I do believe in efficient markets, when I look at a chart, I see stories or I see stories waiting to be uncovered. In this case, I can tell you almost every tick of this story. I'm not going to tell you every tick because we don't have time, but I'll tell you where it's the big ones here. March 10th here. March 10th, Identiv puts out a major contract that they win. It looked major, but there were no numbers associated with it. So you saw it pop and it sold off. Then a couple days later, March 12th, they had their earnings report. In the earnings report, on the conference call, they quantified the size of that contract in a big way, in a very detailed manner. They quantified that contract. And based on the numbers they gave, you could extrapolate that the company revenue here can 2 to 3x increase in revenue over the next year or two. Furthermore, by the way, this company at the time traded at a negative enterprise value, meaning right now the market cap's 94 million, and I don't know if it's negative anymore. It's probably around 0. They probably have around $94 million of net cash on their balance sheet. So this stock is like free, right? You're just like, have a free option to the upside. Okay, so that earnings report came out in the after hours. They gave us, they quantified it. So what happened? You gapped up higher than the previous gap when the news came out. Why higher? Because we got more information, okay, of why this deal was really good. But then you sold off. This was probably, I don't remember, this may have been related to a market sell-off. Yeah, March, right? Yes, this was related to the Iran war starting. All right, by the way, that's efficient. That's not inefficiency, right? When geopolitical news causes a stock to go down, it deserves to go down. Everything deserves to go down, all right? Because there actually is a real risk. It's real. That risk is real. It's not a nonsense risk. It was a real risk, right? And, even if you want to say, okay, now there's a 1% chance of a nuclear war and everything goes to 0. That's got to be priced in. That's efficient, right? Or there's a 30% chance or even a 50% chance oil is going to go over 100 and stay over 100 for years or whatever. There's a chance of that, right? So for every single asset to be marked down during that is efficient. It's an efficient market reaction, which makes sense, right? So that's why the stock went down during those days. All right. Now, why did it go back up here before the market rebound on April 1st? Tell you the truth, it's because I did a little bit of spreading the word about this, right? It got down to levels I thought, now this is really low. Now we're trading at a really negative valuation. So I went on a little bit of a marketing spree with behind the scenes, people I know, all right, on text message and stuff, people who have big money. And I was telling them about this, and they bought up the stock over 2 or 3 days. And that's why you had this move here over 2 or 3 days. Okay. Then the stock is consolidated for a while. Now what we're seeing, very interesting, you're seeing volume increasing in this name last several days. He had a couple big blocks. There was a block of about 350,000 yesterday, another block of like 75,000 today. But there's a hidden technical signal here. I don't know. You probably heard me say what happened with this, Dougie. But do you see anything bullish or interesting about this chart right here? It's hard to see, Dougie. Very hard to see.
I mean, I'm looking at it on my charts too. I don't see anything that pops out to me except that it kind of wants to curl up into the top a little. It has a little resistance and looks like it wants to get over that 405. And when it does, that's when it's going to run.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you one of my favorite hidden technical signals.
I can't wait to see.
Before I tell you that, I will tell you that when you look at a chart like this that has all these choppy candles, it's good to move to the weekly. All right. You move to the weekly, much easier to see what's going on. Number one. Okay. But
Those Q puts, if anyone followed me, are paying nicely.
Yeah,
Very
they're
nice.
dipping now.
Good job
Yep.
on that. So, aside from this, definitely look at the weekly. You can see the increasing volume. It's looking great, right? But on the daily chart, what happened yesterday? You see the bottom of this candle? The bottom of this candle was $3.79.5, $3.79.5, almost $3.80. Why is that significant? This is the highest low since the news broke out over here. All right. In fact, it's the highest low for like 5 or 6 months. And this is something I wish that there could be a line chart. See, you can go to a line chart and you can see the closing prices. I wish our brokers, these platforms, would give you a line chart of the low of the day, because that's such a powerful thing that a lot of people don't look at it. Because the low of each day is a sign of the real demand. It's a sign of where the buyers are, right? It's basically the bottom of the daily candles. But it's hard to visually see. You really got to concentrate. And then I noticed this yesterday. I went back and I double checked. And I'm like, that's a sign of what? That's a sign of accumulation right there. It's a sign of buyers coming in, accumulation. And I can't tell you how many times that I've seen that when you have a new highest low of day on a daily candle, which was yesterday, April 21st, a new highest low of day, and the highest low since the news came out, I can't tell you how many times I've seen the next day the stock explode. Now, it hasn't exploded yet, but percentage-wise, that's a good bet. And that's actually why I made Identiv a top pick in our community this morning, because, and it still may happen, by the way, because there's been some unusual price action here with big blocks. So, and also unusual extended hours price action since Friday, pre-market and after hours. Something is cooking here. I think someone big is taking a position. And you can take a look at the fundamentals and the catalysts and everything. But this is something I've been sitting on since March 13th. And I bought more around March 23rd, 24th. I've been comfortable sitting in this stock because it's free. It's a free option. All right. You're getting almost the entire market cap and net cash for free, as this company is on the way to double, tripling the revenue and flipping the profitability. And by the way, this stock's in the same sector. It's IoT stuff and tracking things. The same sector as the Watt, right, which just exploded. Okay, so this kind of chart may be in the future for Identiv, INVE. All right, so
Like it.
that's the story on INVE. Hey, did you know about that? The highest to low on the daily chart, Dougie?
No, I never even look at that. I just
love
look
it.
at a
It's
chart
cool.
in general, you know that, and just tell you
No.
what I think and it's gonna happen. And
Look at the USO accelerating here to the
yeah,
upside.
Q's dipping down here.
Q's
you're
are a
right,
little
right?
bit weak. Yeah,
So, interesting take.
yeah.
It's like an echo.
What's that?
Who's that going?
I'm hearing an echo.
What?
You guys don't hear an echo when I talk?
Not too
No.
much. A little bit, very light. Yeah, I hear an echo when I talk too. I hear the echo also, but it's not like crazy. It's like a slight, a little bit of an echo.
I think it's offline. Let me see.
The
only thing a little concerning though is with the Qs is if you look at Nvidia right now, Nvidia is showing some pretty relative strength here at the moment.
Look, you know what? I'm gonna pull back a little bit. Yeah, I hear the echo. I'm gonna pull back a little bit, and we're in a very tough spot because on the daily we're overbought. We've come such a long way, so everyone's on edge saying, when's the profit taking gonna happen? Oh my gosh, profit taking come anytime, and it can, and it's a little bit scary. But if you go to the weekly chart, and I've been saying this all week long, every time you come out of a V-shaped recovery to new highs, this is just my own observation, but I've seen people quantify this on X, what I'm about to say. So every time you come out of a V-shaped recovery to new highs, we went into a raging bull market. This was a COVID crash, raging bull market. Liberation Day crash, raging bull market. I'm not sure this time is going to be different. All right. You have the weekly RSIs not overbought yet. Yeah, you may consolidate for a little bit. We may be on edge. We may get chopped up with headlines. You know, there may be some profit taking on a daily level. But I am at green signal. I'm almost fully invested in my long-term account, and I'm not worried at all from a long-term perspective. And yeah, day trading and swing trading, yeah, it's a little bit scary because the daily's overbought. So, and people have quantified this in terms of overbought to oversold. Apparently, like this has been the fastest move from like an oversold RSI to an overbought RSI. So they've like historically looked at other cases. It's just the same way of saying what you visually see in the chart. V-shaped recovery to new highs. So there's lots of different ways to quantify that. And I've seen so many threads and posts on X about when you have price action like that, it's usually very bullish for the next 12 months with like additional substantial gains, like 20-30% at an indice level over the next 12 months. So while it's a little scary, I try to separate, I'm not scared for my long-term account. I'm trying to stay calm with my swings and trying to tolerate some of this volatility. But when you're just like day trading, it's crazy. It's scary. It's scary because it's like, oh my gosh, you can get a sharp pullback any day, just some profit taking. And then, if you're not positioned right, you can be wiped out. A short-term account. If you not, I'd never get wiped out because I know how to manage my risk. But still, you can see a drawdown that you don't want to see. Like yesterday, I had a drawdown just because of Robinhood, because I got a big position in Robinhood. I was down, my account was down 3% just because of Robinhood yesterday. So anyway, there was a lot there. I hope you guys found that interesting. Any comments, Rhett, on the side there? Oh, we're already 11. Oh, we go to 11:30. Let me open the comments. What do we got here?
No, we go to 11:30. They're just saying Q's up, oil up, Bitcoin up, and then AVGO.
Yeah, here's Gary. Markets are not efficient. I love it. I love that. He must be a fundamental investor. Oh my gosh. What do you think of that, Dougie? I think you might because of did he read my blog?
I didn't. I'm gonna have to read it. I know. Yeah. I know it's up there. I didn't get a chance to read it, but I'll definitely read what you had to write.
Yeah, I think technical traders more lean towards markets are efficient. Because oh wow.
Yeah, I don't look at any info. So
because you have always said that. Every technical trader I know says all the information's in the chart, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically them saying markets are efficient, right? Fundamental investors like, oh my gosh, they hate it. Oh my God, drives them crazy when I tell them markets are efficient. And man, I will debate you anytime, any of these fundamental investors, and I will absolutely destroy all of your arguments over market efficiency. You're all wrong. You're all delusional. All right. Markets are efficient. All right. You can read about it too. I debunk your claims in my blog. All right. Look at this.
So someone's asking, Ben, if you've used TradingView.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
because you can add the indicators.
No, I mean, I'm not so keen on opening. I already deal with so much software here. I don't know if I need another one. If TradingView has it, I wonder if it's a setting somewhere in Webull that I could, on a line chart, to plot low of day. I don't know. I'll have to look into that.
You could definitely do it on probably anything, Ben. They make these things so user friendly now that I'm sure.
I'll look into it later, see if it's possible to chart the low of day. But I mean, that's just a
Trend Spider. You could definitely do it.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people do. Oh, TOS has it. Wow. Yeah.
Thinkorswim.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I know Thinkorswim does. I
didn't know that. I thought I was the only one looking at that. All right, cool.
I always thought that before too, until I realized that there's so many people in the world. Everybody looks at something, so you're probably not the only one that looks at something, or you're probably not the only one with an ID. Yeah. Everybody has IDs.
That's true.
That is funny.
Yeah. Comment.
Just ask Claude. Yeah. Ask AI.
Yeah.
But there's a comment here on Hood that's come up so much. Yeah, man, I don't know. I am not. My price objective before our earnings are Tuesday. It is taking a pause. It is a little concerning because I'm like loaded in this. But my price objective was 95 to 98 before earnings, which is Tuesday. It could still definitely come 95 to 90. And I even put a stretch target of the 200 DMA. I even suggested we can hit the 200 DMA before earnings in anticipation. I don't know about that anymore. But now I'm thinking get into this gap, which is 95 to 98, I believe. Yeah, 95 to 98, right into that gap. I think I could do that before earnings. I don't know, Dougie, you're the technical trader. So let's say Tuesday, right? Today is Wednesday. So we got half a day, full day Thursday, full day Friday, full day Monday. And I think they report after the close Tuesday.
I think, yeah.
So we may have another full day Tuesday.
So what I see, like that 20 and 50 meeting up right there, it should be trying to jump up a little bit more today, I would think. I don't know why it's so weak for some reason, especially with Bitcoin doing so well. So that kind of concerns me, but I do think it still bounce up. It still has that look, but I mean, I can't promise you it's going up. It does have a little bit of a weak look today. And Yeah, it does have a weak look, to be honest.
It's an inside candle today. You do have that bearish,
Like
I mean, the
yesterday
bullish,
got
sorry, the bullish cross that you just mentioned, the 2050, about to
Yeah,
form.
that's trying to meet up right there. So that should try to push it up in the next day. I would say if it doesn't get pushed up tomorrow or Friday, I don't know. It better have some really good news coming out.
Yeah,
to make it
I
jump.
did start de-risking a little bit. At the open this morning, I sold all of the 92 weekly calls. That was a good move. But I still have a bunch of weeklies. For next week, I only have the 95. Most of my position is in common shares, though. So
And of course, you
I
could
don't
get
know.
bounces intraday because we see how crazy the market is, but it just looks a little weak right now. And like
Yeah.
I said, today it should be running up unless it starts running this afternoon.
Yeah.
And that's a possibility.
We got a question here from Liber US 3773. Could the oil shock that hasn't effectively hit us yet disrupt the V-shaped recovery bull market? Yeah, it could. Let's look at this.
That's always a black swan.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
look, we called the black swan on the way down. I mean, this was just beautiful. On this whole way down, we went to red alert this entire time from March, from late February. By the way, March was a great month for me. Okay, because we were positioned for the war. We thought the war would start. Was betting on it every weekend for about 3 weeks, but it finally
Yeah.
hit. Right, it finally hit, and then our call options on RTX like paid off, and so we did pretty well, and we're at red alert the entire month of March almost. Okay, until March 6th. No, April 6th was when we came out of red alert. Right, April 6th, and we came out of red alert. But I was in red alert the entire time because of Black Swan, and I always said, as long as oil is over $100. In fact, what is Brent crude at right now?
It was at 100 just a few minutes ago.
It's back to 100. The front month of Brent crude.
Yeah, actually, it's 101.24 at the moment, and crude is at 92.16.
Wait, which ones? Hold on, there's different ones.
Brent is at 101.24.
Okay, so the Brent crude was the one I was looking at as my North Star. So we're back above 100, unfortunately, and so that was a black swan, and it's basically the longer oil stays over 100, the more it can have this negative impact, right? That in terms of V-shaped recovery for the bull market. Is it possible? Absolutely, yeah. But I'm not gonna predict that here. It's something to keep in mind. Obviously, the market is forward-looking, and they are betting on a resolution. That's what the market's betting on. Yeah, it's a risk. It's a risk, but you know what? Like, to your point, Dougie, everything's in the charts, and the market usually knows, right? We believe in efficient markets. So, the net aggregate opinion, the experts, everyone out there that controls capital, really strongly believes that this oil situation will be resolved in such a way that it's not going to, cause a huge impact on the economy. That's the current opinion of markets. That's the current efficient net aggregate opinion of people who participate in markets. And so for now, that's what I'm going with.
And I'll agree with that based off the charts right now, for sure. You still have a little bit of time where it could run up, and I think we might see a little spike up right here, but I don't think you're going to get if it crosses through that MACD again, gets really running, could disrupt things, but I just don't see it happening at all.
Hold on. Gary brings up a great point. Okay. If I believe in efficient markets, how do you explain CAR going to 848? First of all, remember, my definition of efficient markets is not about fundamental overvaluation or undervaluation. I talk about it in the thing, because first of all, you can never prove that. No one can ever prove or disprove efficient markets based on a perspective that you're only efficient if you trade at fair fundamental value. It can never be proven because there's 1,000 different opinions on what fair fundamental value is, literally, all right? Depending on your assumptions for next 12 months earnings or revenue or whatever. That being said, this is one of the few cases where I believe the market is not efficient, and I actually spell it out in my blog, right? Because my whole case for efficient markets is that every market participant is able to do what they want to do based on the information available to them. That's my definition. And I think it's the correct. I don't care what anyone else says about market efficiency. I'm right. That should be the dictionary definition. Okay. So But why is it not efficient in this case? Because everyone is not able to do what they want to do. In this case, because you have margin calls and short squeezes, right? When a broker is forcing you to do something you don't want to do, to buy to cover or to sell stocks because of margin calls, or you're in extended hours and you don't have access, as your broker doesn't give you access in certain extended hours. All of those cases are the rare cases where you have a market inefficiency because people are forced to do things they don't want to do. Very easy. Okay, that's your answer, Gary. All right. Let's head on back over to our watch list. I hope you like this show. A lot of education I'm giving you guys. Alternative education.
Schooling everyone.
Alternative education, right? You're not going to hear anywhere else. I make up my own rules, man. That's how I fly.
You and me both. I make up my own terms and everything. I don't know what anything's
I gotta
called.
tell
I
you
have
something.
zero financial background. Just been looking at charts for over 25 years.
I like purposely don't like to learn what everyone else learns.
Me too.
Because I don't want to have blinders on, right? Like I purposely will not go and learn, about how everyone. I figured out my technical analysis over like 30 years. All right.
Yeah.
And I came up with my own systems and the own things that I see, and it probably matches a lot of other stuff that I see
How
out
the
there.
heck did we grow up like two towns,
Because
like couple towns
you're not
away?
going to
It's
have
so
you're not going to have an edge over someone if you just learn the cookie cutter thing that everyone else is learning,
Nope.
right? And also,
everyone knows that.
And you tend to become very closed-minded too if you just learn what's in the books. So, any case,
Bitcoin. Wow, look at crypto just cruising along today. Bitcoin's about to hit 79K.
Really? Why is Hood not doing better today?
Good.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's moving.
Hood is definitely surprising me. And
that's why I'm saying about
we
Hood.
got like some price target upgrades, which I thought the day after the PT Power and Day Trader news, which I guess was April 14th, or no, it was April 15th, because this was a market move on April 14th. Right, market was exploding, I'm pretty sure, and Bitcoin. That was a Bitcoin move. April 14th, Bitcoin just absolutely exploded, right? So Hood came up with that. Then he had an after hours, or late. It was that day, by the way. It was that day, 2-3 p.m., but most people didn't realize what was going on until after hours, right? So after hours, April 14th, it really started moving on the Power and Day Trader real change. So then he got the next gap up. And so I thought that the next day, April 15th, April 16th, something like that, that we would get analyst upgrades. I thought my newsfeed would be filled with analyst upgrades, increasing the price target by like $30, $40, something like that. And we didn't get anything until like yesterday. Yesterday, we had 2 or 3 analysts coming out, increasing price targets, but modestly by like, I think one of them went from like 95 to 115. A lot of them were clustered. The price targets were clustered around 110 to 120, right? And they raised the price targets by like $10 to $15. There were 3. I forgot which they were. I think Cantor was the biggest one. Cantor Fitzgerald. Mizuho also came out. But so there were a few of them. So yeah, I really thought that they would come out like guns blazing and be like, oh my gosh, this is the most significant, inflection catalyst for Robinhood ever. That's what I thought. That's why it's my biggest position across many of my accounts right now. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Definitely surprised that we're not doing even better today with Bitcoin ripping. Like
with Bitcoin surging. That's why when I was saying that about Robinhood, it looks a little
inside
weak.
day bullish cross on the moving averages. As long as the Qs don't dump on some geopolitical news the rest of the week, maybe we could make our way towards 93.
Still bounce up a little.
93 plus, hopefully by the end of the week. I'm hoping.
It's possible. But yeah, Bitcoin cruising right there. It is looking good.
PTLO, Roth Capital initiates PTLO $9 price target.
And that AVEX kind of fell off too. I thought it was going to try to get set up there, and it dipped down a little bit more.
LIBERT. Wait, is he talking about car? Which stock did he ask me about before? Ben, could the oil? Something about low volume. I don't know what stock you're talking. He asked me about. Tesla, I have no thoughts on. I think I covered Tesla at the start.
I already asked you.
Yeah, I own it long term, and
me too.
I've traded Tesla in the short term account when there's like a huge positive catalyst. Other than that, it's very hard to trade the stock. It's too choppy intraday. I don't really trade it. I just own it. So that's my thought on Tesla. Very hard.
I almost trade the ETFs a little bit more like TSLL.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper and it's a 2-timer and you can get some good movement on it. So just an opportunity and different way to look at it. Because Tesla is kind of hard and it's expensive, so you can if it goes the wrong way on you, it's never a good thing. And I can't tell what it's going to do
I can't believe
earnings.
MOB. I'm not in the. We got this from the newsfeed early. Man, what price was it when I bought it? It was $5.49.
Look at
I
that
got in
bad
at
boy.
$5.49. I alerted at $5.49 in my Discord, but I like sold it at like $5.70, and I was like, and then I did keep.
$6.70 now.
Yeah, no, I did sell some at $6.75 today, but that was in my long-term account. So my short-term account were like $5.49 to $5.70, like a little scalp. Long-term account, I thought it was going to hold long-term, but it hit my swing target was $6.90. It already hit $6.75. I mean, $6.80. So I sold it at $6.75 today. But this was an inflection catalyst. This thing might run for a while. The RSI is not overbought yet, so
No.
I have no position and kind of regret I didn't have a bigger position or hold for higher levels.
Yeah, I mean, it could go into the 7s with no problem here.
Yeah, and drone stock 85 million, over a $2 million contract yesterday, the largest in company history. So anyway, I'm not in it. Oh no, I'm getting killed on AVEX. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I was
Oh
saying.
my gosh. I
That's what
gotta
I was
squint
talking
now.
about.
Back to squint trading. I can't look at my account value. I
Yeah,
ended up.
AVEX. I thought it was going to try to jump
Oh
up there
shit.
for a minute. I just looked at it. I was like, whoa, it just got crushed.
Oh shoot. I think I'm gonna hold. I don't do that. I very rarely hold. I very rarely hold a day trade and turn it into a swing when it turns against me, but I think I might in this case.
I think everyone believed you with INVE because it seems to be cruising right now.
We'll see. I'm not doing it. I already have a position. I've held the position for like a month, and
Everyone on here hopped in now.
look at the weekly chart. It looks so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Looks good.
There's a new volume. This is only
Weekly
half of a
looks
week.
great.
It's only half of a week, and the weekly volumes already. Wow.
It's up there.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful chart. We'll see. We'll see if this breaks out. This was a top pick this morning. I gave it a target. Since we're here and we have some time, I'll show you the morning note. So on the MOB, I gave a target of UMAC almost made it to the 1750 target. Axon was initiating a swing. MOB, I gave a target of 690. Wait, what am I looking at? Oh, okay, right. So we're almost there. Okay, it's INVNC. I'm wrong on AVEX. Yeah, I had AVEX as a top pick today. That's the one that's hurting. But INVE here, I get a 470 to 6 swing target is what I gave. So let's go back and look. 470 to 6. You got some resistance first, though, at 430. So first you got some resistance on the weekly at 430. And then where did I get the 470 from? Let's take a look at the daily. 430 is clear to see. Oh, 470 is support here. So this used to be support right around 470. Yeah, so after fourth and right here, and it became resistance. So very clear to see that actually. Yeah, beautiful level. So 430 and 470 are the next levels on Identif. And then like a real stretch target, maybe you need news to get to the 200 week moving average all the way up there near 6. So 430, 470 next targets, maybe a swing of 6. That's Identif. Since people are obviously buying it right now.
Yeah.
Dig deep.
Like
Let's dig deep. Dig a little deeper here. You can see this. This was interesting to me. This block of 293,000 shares. It's another. That is a textbook thing that I did learn, that volume precedes price.
Oh, totally.
Right. Previous.
That's what sets the charts up. That volume.
Previous support becomes resistance. Previous resistance becomes support. There are a couple basic concepts I did read about and learn. So, but anyway. A big volume there, very interesting. Another big block here today at 76,000, and I've been pounding the table on this for consistently, and something's up. I really think something's up. Meaning there's a big entity buying a lot of shares, and I expect more noise on this stock soon.
Is that Yosef buying them?
Media. He does mostly options.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But man, I'm getting killed on AVEX today.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at oil.
Look
Look at oil. That's scary. Yesterday we killed it on GLND with really nicely timed alerts. So I'm gonna put this at the top of my list. I'm not in it now. Let's see.
Yeah, it could get really set up again and just go flying, huh?
This was us getting in at around 480, selling up there near 6, but it hasn't really come back down. I'll watch it for opportunities. Oil exploration company out of Greenland, or not out of Greenland, probably out of the States. But yeah, they're doing it in Greenland. Yeah. Damn. Oh wow! Look at that! Look at the relative strength in Bull today. By the way, I think Bull has a better chart, to be honest with you, than Robinhood. Even though mostly in Robinhood, I think Robinhood benefits the most from this pattern day trader rule change. But Bull did.
You also had IBKR come out and say something as well on that.
Yeah, not anything too good, actually. IBKR are such dinosaurs over there. They had earnings yesterday, and in the conference call, the first analyst question was about the pattern day trader rule change. And you know what the CEO said? CEO is like, yeah, well, I think this will just accelerate outcomes, he says, right? He doesn't even talk about it from the perspective of the company. He talks about it from the perspective of the traders, right? It'll accelerate outcomes. It's like some people who know what they're doing and they know how to trade, they'll make money faster. And people who don't know what they're doing and they trade haphazardly, they'll lose their money faster. That was his answer to the analyst. So the analyst was like, so
how's that help?
All right. So the analyst is like, so I guess you think there's an opportunity there? Like, can you tell us what the opportunity is for you? And then it's like, well, yeah, I guess he said there's an opportunity in that, you know, we have a lot of small accounts, so you'll see increased volume of trading. And that was it. That was all they said.
Well,
yeah, I saw the commentary. It was great.
Losers. Robinhood is going to know how to capitalize on this. They're going to come up with some huge plan, man. It's going to be great.
Their marketing scheme is always amazing for stuff like this.
I know.
So.
Look at Bull just exploding.
It may take a little longer to come out, but
looks great.
in the long run,
yeah. Bull will also benefit better than IBKR, and Bull does look great. I'm thinking of chasing it. I bought it at 722 this morning. I sold it at 722, and now I'm like, because the daily chart on Bull right now actually looks better than Robinhood, to be honest with you. I don't know, man. Should I chase it up here? Maybe a half position.
I don't know, but I'm
gonna get a half size position because my target was 757 and it hit that. That's why I kind of left it, and I haven't really played with it hard today. But after 757, let's go to the weekly. I don't know, man. What's your target, Dougie? What do you think can happen here on
Bull?
Yeah.
Let me see.
875, 863. I don't know.
It could get to. I mean, it has a lot of room. I mean, it possibly could just get running for a few days, but it's in the top. That's where they get short squeezed up here. So, I mean, you could get over $8 and really start moving if it could really get pumped up here.
I'm very disappointed in Robinhood today. This sucks. Let me put Bitcoin up here for a second.
Yeah, especially with Bitcoin.
Look at Bitcoin. Ooh, wow. Bitcoin looks great. What the hell's going on with Robinhood?
That's why I thought Robinhood.
Wow. Bitcoin's up 2%. Qs are up 1.3%, really running towards the highs right now.
Yeah.
And Robinhood is just, whoa, not a great look to the chart, and only up 2%. Whoa, this is weird. Even the 5-minute looks sleepy and not nice. 30-minute doesn't, really looks kind of toppy in here, to be honest with you. That sucks. That's my biggest position right now. I'm really happy I sold the 92 calls at the open. What are they trading at now? Wow, yeah, I sold them at $1.20. They're now 80 cents.
Oh, wow.
That really blows. I don't know why Robinhood's so sleepy here today.
Yeah,
See if
it is.
AVEX can get back to 35 today, please. Please.
It's starting to move here. Let's see if it can really get moving. I thought it was going to move before when it was at 33.60 something. Now it's in the 32.60.
I mean,
so.
this chart is not pretty, but
No, but it could.
I mean, IPOs, you don't have a lot of history with IPOs. It's just
No, you don't have anything, so that's the
Yeah.
problem. It's
But
just go off a couple
yeah,
candles.
$40 is a fair fundamental value based on what IPO Candy put out there, who's also a member of our Discord, by the way, and we have the whole news yesterday. What time is it? 11:23. So here, let me bring that up so you could see it here. So in this morning note, by the way, I don't know what kind of, we got to talk to Benzinga about maybe making this morning note co-branding it with Benzinga and making it available on one of your paid plans, Mr. Benzinga people. All right. I'd love to do that. But in this morning note, we put out all these catalysts from yesterday, curated list of what I think is most important. And so in here, under Trump world, we have defense budget. So proposed 1.5 trillion U.S. defense budget includes major allocations toward next generation warfare, with roughly 54.6 billion earmarked for autonomous systems and drones. So based on this catalyst and a fair value of $40 is why I'm not bailing on this yet. And let's see if I can get out near break even at $35. See if we can get a V shape. That'll be nice. Look at the Qs continuing to hit new highs and the hood continuing to underperform.
I got stopped out of that trade.
Yeah.
I took profits down there, but then pretty much
Which trade are you talking about?
Short.
Confused trade. Short.
Oh, that's a tough one. 675 here. We'll look at MOB. Look at this candle. 18,000 shares, which is a lot for this company. I'm so upset I'm not in this right now. This is our baby. Why didn't I buy more shares or stay with it longer? And this is a top pick in the morning note too. And even yesterday in the Discord, I put this is really set up to run tomorrow. I put that in the freaking Discord. Did I buy any? No. I made it a $6.90 price target for today. Put it out at 6 a.m. It was trading at 6:20. Did I buy any? No. Oh, it's so annoying. Well, anyway, congrats, folks who actually read my morning note and acted on it.
And listened to it.
Yeah. Why didn't I do it? Annoying. What else we got here? What I did was I bought Axon, which is not working, and oil getting a little concerning.
Yeah. Looking pretty good.
Okay, BKSY coming back. That's I gotta sell that. Let me see. BKSY. 40. Let's see. 487. 40, 35. My break even. What is that noise?
I don't know.
Sorry, I'll go on mute.
Brett's got a train going by.
Yeah, my break even's $40.35 on BKSY. I think I'm not going to try to make money anymore than that. I'm going to get out soon.
That must be the Strait of Hormuz. All the ships are crossing now.
Man, what the hell's going on with HUD? Jeez, so annoying. Yeah, we got to keep an eye on GLND with oil pumping like this. Where's oil? Here it is. Oil, GLND. Wow, oil is really pumping.
Oh.
It's above yesterday's high, isn't it? At least USO is.
USO is, yes.
Did we take another trade on GLND? It was just so easy yesterday because it was so oversold. You can see it here. It was so easy to take this trade. Now up here, it's not as easy to take it.
Yeah, now it's just got like a little choppy look. It's trying to get set up. I don't know if it's just right at the second, but it is trying.
Yeah.
And it does look like it will get moving again.
AVEX is coming back. And by the way, if you were buying this year, because a bunch of you obviously did on Identiv, this is not a day trade, okay? Just be ready to hold this. Like I've been
Swing it.
I've been holding this for a month, and you have to have a little patience here. Look at the weekly chart, right? This moves in, weekly candles. All right, so just setting expectations there. Oh my gosh, look at MOB 683, another candle of 55,000. Oh shoot.
Wow.
Uh,
Look at that bad boy.
We are the MOB people. What the hell? Why didn't I slam this with
Just-
size yesterday? Anyway, I'm sure some people,
And then just hold it.
some people killed it in our community, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Wait, my target was 690, 683. Okay. Where was 690? That was where did I get 690 from, right?
Mm.
Oh yeah. Here. Top of this candle, 690.
Yeah, right there, 694.
Oh, right
Yeah,
here.
there it goes flying again.
There goes what?
I said no. I'm just saying there it goes flying
Yeah,
again.
if you're in this for the trade that I put out this morning on the morning note with a 690 target, I would take your profits here. 681 by
Lock it in.
685. Maybe even Rhett, can you put alert in the Discord? I don't know which channel, but like MOB top pick of the day near 690 target, ring the register, something like that.
All right.
Thank you.
What was it? 650 target. You said
690 was the target.
690.
Yeah, it's 680. It's in the 680s now.
682
Ring the
now.
register. Hit everyone on that so they get it. Look at the
Tag
cubes.
everyone.
Yeah, tag everyone. That's the right terminology. Don't hit everyone. That wouldn't be good.
Just smack them in the head.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe MOB.
That was a good one.
Carmel coming back. Jeez, they had that crazy catalyst the other day. Big gap
Yeah,
up.
it did.
All right, just put in day alerts.
All right, we're at 11:30. Who's left at Benzinga? Is anyone supposed to come on, or they just pick us up?
Yeah. It's no, we just ended ourselves.
Oh, we just leave and then they end it.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Hope you guys are entertained, found some value today with our discussions, and we'll see you next.
And head on
Wednesday.
over to storytrading.com. Oh, here's someone who played it. Ben, I played MOB this morning, taking profit for a nice return. Boom. All right. Head on over to storytrading.com and you can become part of our Discord community. Take care, everyone.
Have a good one, everybody.
Take care. Have